Well, I think I'm seeing myself, but we're
Okay.
looking for you on the um, what's it called? On the Discord. For some reason, I don't see you on there.
Yeah, for some reason,
There's
when I have
Alfred.
OBS on, and then I think when I get out of this, then I'll be able to get on there. So that's something I will figure out. Other than not seeing me, is everything working?
It looks like it. Yeah, I'm seeing
Okay,
double
cool,
of myself, which is always interesting.
awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna set up the raid now. We're gonna raid Dan's channel. Dan is the musician of the Crimson Diamond, and we are going to do some actual live composing and maybe implementing some music if Dan saves the file formats to the right file format this time. Which we don't know if that's gonna happen or not.
It's not gonna happen.
We were using OGG files for
Yes.
it's like a I guess it's what's the word I'm looking for? Not public domain, like not freeware.
No,
What's the
it's
word?
a compressed file format, but it's supposedly a better lossless compression format than something like MP3, which is kind of a thing. Sam Tacky, yes sir, finally got a haircut. I finally braved the barber shop
All right, so
and
we
did
have
it.
15 viewers on, and I'm gonna raid early. We're gonna get on there now. We have 15 people incoming, Dan. So
Oh
see you
goody,
soon.
I'm ready.
All right, great.
Yeah, we finally
All
we
right,
finally had to cut the hair up, just give it a little snip, you know. No more hats. Ah, there we go. There is a Maple Mystery is raiding with a party of 15. Hopefully we'll see her shortly because
yeah,
I
I'll
don't
figure
know.
that out.
You like the shirt? Slat Studio, right?
Let's see here.
Julia probably will like it. I don't know if she can even see me. Oh, there she is.
Here
There
I
she
am.
is. And why don't I see? I should just be seeing you. There we go. Now we got it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of view. There we go.
Now we got it.
There we go.
The Deluxe Tux. Where are you? What location geographically are you? Like I don't. You don't have to say the city, but maybe like a country, state, whatever. We don't need addresses or social security numbers. Oh, Pennsylvania. Oh, you're right here. You're my next door neighbor, essentially. Somewhere I'd like to go. So,
All
what's up,
right.
guys? Welcome to
Whoop.
this version of the stream. We kind of like, if there was a couple of people on last night that happened to see, Julie and I were testing some things, and we ended up having, having, having fun and staying for kind of quite a while, no? We
Yeah.
ended up being on for like 40 minutes and
Because
it
you
was
started
fun.
showing cool things that I want you to show today, like the music video and other stuff.
Well, I think we will. I think we will. And I actually have some video that I was preparing. I didn't get all the video done I wanted, but I got some of it done. So I'm happy to
Sweet.
have everybody here. I'm happy to be here with Julia again. And this is our stream.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'll give the release date of the video game we're working on. We're working on a game called The Crimson Diamond, and the official release date will be when it's ready, and that will be exactly the day that it is released. Actually,
It's a
probably
surprise.
probably won't even be that day. It'll be after that, but
Yeah.
at some point. Yeah, and you guys like this shirt? So this shirt was a gift from Julia. She sent this to me right before we went to PAX East. I
I can't
don't
see
know
the
which coast.
shirt. It's
You
too
can't
low.
see it,
Like,
really?
there we go.
How about
There we go. Nice. Nice.
now? Yeah, so Julia is looking at a different camera angle than everybody on Twitch. Everybody on Twitch sees a
Okay.
different camera.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I got to wear this, and there's some cool pictures of us there with some other adventure game people. Um, Katie from Phoenix Online Studios, Francisco of Grundislav Games,
Mm-hmm.
Dave Gilbert of Wadjedi Games, and who else was there? Well, Roberta Vaughn of the Classic Gamers Guild was there. And who else was there? Oh, we also got to hang out with a really cool. I guess what's his official title? Um, I don't even know what his official title. He's a blogger. He does articles for I think Kotaku. Is that right?
Oh, Benj Edwards?
Yeah. What's his
Yeah,
official
yeah.
title? Is he a blogger?
He does a bunch of different stuff. I know
podcaster.
he does write articles for like PC
Yeah,
Gamer and other
so
places.
he's a
Yeah.
writer. Um, he does a lot of cool stuff, and he was a really good dude to hang out with. And his podcast that he does with, I forget the other guy's name. That's the main. I think he's like the main guy in it. But he has a podcast called Retronauts Podcast.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you're familiar with the Retronauts podcast, so I went to their live panel and it was hilarious. Ben cracked me up the entire time. Like he's about the most dry humor, but it was like
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know if he was trying to do it on purpose, but he was hilarious. And I don't think he was trying to do it on purpose. I think that was just him because when I talked to him off the stage, it was the same conversation. So he's just a funny
Nice.
dude, nice guy, and it was cool to
Yeah.
meet him. So, what are we doing here tonight on this stream? Well, we're going to make some noise. Julia's been making this game called the Crimson Diamond, an EGA text parser. If you didn't know this by now, I'm Julia. This is Dan. Sometimes the
Mhm.
roles reverse. You know, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
You need at least a week's notice for the. Yeah, I think this is a good question, by the way. Browsing my shelf, Mr. Kiki. Yeah, there's some nice stuff. There's some nice stuff in here. Yeah, Sammy Buckets. I need one of those, like, what are they called? What are those machines called? Instant replay machines. So I can do all the, not the Stream Deck. I want the one that can do all the sounds live. The instant replay machines that they use at the radio station. So they can
Oh,
do
the
all
soundboard.
yeah, the stupid little vocal drops and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, what we are doing tonight is we're going to make some death music, which is, well, Julia aptly described it as a death ditty, which I think is a good way
I'm glad.
a good way to describe it because it's really short.
I'm glad you caught that.
What did they say here? You don't have a MIDI controller to do that with? Oh, I probably do. I mean, God knows how many keyboards I have here, but yeah, I haven't queued it all up. But anyway, death ditty. So, are we thinking one ditty or a few related death ditties? That's a great question, Slat Studio. So, I don't know if there's a definitive answer yet, but I think the idea is, and in game development, there's this thing that they call scope, right? And another thing that they call feature creep, if you've not heard of it. If you're in game development, you probably know about these two things. Feature creep and scope. Two things to keep in mind. They're highly tied together. And feature creep is usually a problem in games that are done by indie developers where, hey, it would be cool to have this. Hey, what about this? Hey, well, we should add this. So the upside is with Julia, we don't have that problem. And with me, I try to keep the scope in mind at all times because the more stuff we do, sometimes the more problems it creates. But at the same time, I do think that probably a few death ditties or a few variations of one would be something cool to have. And I'm going to show a couple of just really, really brief examples from two adventure games that I really love, and I'm sure you guys like too. And additionally, we were testing this thing out last night, Julie and I. We were testing this process out to see if we could poll the chat and see if there's any games that people like the death ditties in, and maybe I can call them up on YouTube or somewhere and play them back so all of us can share the love at the same time, which I think would be pretty cool. So, hey, what if there was some insult sword fighting in the Crimson Diamond? Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be any dairy farmer fighting in this one, but there might be. There might be. Is there a lot of arcade sequences? Is there a shooting gallery? Is there like a missile command arcade sequence?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you have to prevent the
There's like a flight simulator.
Yeah, that makes sense. When you have to prevent the nuclear launch and stuff like that. And then the space, when you go into space and fighting against the other starships.
And also the casino games. That's a staple in DC
that
area.
would be cool. Did you ever play Hoyle Book 1, by the way? Anybody ever play that?
I have a Hoyle here, actually. Which one do I have?
Oh, dear.
I know. I showed it last time. I can't.
I think you had Book 2 or a later one.
I do have one. Hold on, I'm just gonna
Book 1
move
never came
everything.
on CD-ROM, as far as I know.
No, I've got Hoyle Classic games.
Oh yeah, that's a much later, much later
Yeah, this
one.
is much
Do
later.
you play against Do you play against other like Sierra characters in that game?
Yeah, yeah, Hoyle Book of Games 2, I know for sure you do.
Oh,
Um,
not the one you were just showing though. Hoyle Classic games.
it doesn't look like it, no. From
Okay, that's more of an accurate, realistic type of a thing, I guess.
Bill Coon suggests Astro Chicken. By the way, hello, Bill Coon. I don't
Oh
know why my
man,
lighting
I
turned yellow.
love Miss Astro Chicken.
Oh, really?
Have you
Do you like
played
the
that?
idea of Miss Astro Chicken,
No,
or do you like the
I
actual?
played it a lot on my 386. A lot. So let's see here. We have one suggestion, Castlevania from 2P Alfred F. Jones. Castlevania Good Death to These. Okay, so the only issue I have with that is you have to make it really specific because there's 102 million different Castlevania games. So we got to know which one, but I agree with you. Even if we go to the first one or if we go to maybe one of the variations of the first one, which is like, I don't even know which actually the first version is. Yes, Eden Wraith. You definitely see Space Quest 4 back here. It's one of my favorite games. Sam Tack, you had the original Astro Chicken handheld. No, you must have had something different because Astro Chicken was like a joke in one of the games. Castlevania Super Super Castlevania 4. That's a good idea. Can we make a note of that? Do I have notes here? Let me take some notes. Do you have your notepad in front of you, Julia?
Yeah, I do. I've got note paper.
Can
Super
you just write
Castlevania
that?
4.
Super Castlevania 4 death music. That's a good one. Miss Astro Chicken. I don't remember if there's good death music, but there's good music in it. And it's that I think they bring that Sierra uses that little chicken music in a few different games. It's definitely in King's Quest 4 too, I think. Or is it earlier than that? I think it's 4. Can you hear that?
I can't. I don't know if they can. I hope so. Deluxe Tuck says the Banjo Tooie death music.
Yeah, that was the little ditty of Miss Astro Chicken, or also in another King's Quest game. Street Fighter 2 OG.
Al.
Retro Rents Al, what's up? Great. I'm glad you guys can hear that. Mr. Kiki says Street Fighter 2 OG. I don't remember of any of the Sierra death tunes. Is there specific death tunes though in Street Fighter 2, or you mean like when you have to continue? When you've died? Chicken music is in KQ4, PQ1, SQ3. It's also in SQ4, I guess. Yes, Metal Gear Solid Sammy Buckets is one that I was thinking of because there is actually music. Something like that. I forget exactly how it goes. Is that copyrighted, by the way, or is that like a classic tune?
Oh boy.
See, I think for Julia's own personal sake, she's lucky that she's the only one that has access to the coding of the game. Because if I did have access, you'd know that I would throw an Easter egg or two into the game, and she'd be like, "What the hell is this? What did you do to my game? You ruined it. I'll never speak to you again." So it's a good thing that I don't have access to that because I would definitely do something like that.
Oh boy. Well, now I know not to.
Okay, Mr. Kiki said, so if you lose a match in Street Fighter 2, yeah, there's like a countdown. That's pretty cool. And then there's like, it shows you like beaten up and bloody depending on which character you are. And then there's like a countdown. So let's put that in our notes. So we have Street Fighter 2.
Yep.
We have Super Castlevania 4. What else did we have?
And Banjo Tooie.
Banjo Tooie. I don't know that one. And then Metal Gear Solid.
Yes, Metal Gear Solid.
I was actually going to try to put that up to my hook that up to my capture card with my PlayStation 3, because if anybody knows Metal Gear Solid, it came out, as I understand it, for 2 systems originally. It was originally released on the PS1, PlayStation whatever, PlayStation 1 at the time, just called the PlayStation, and also PC. And the PC game is really, really expensive and hard to find, and I have not been able to find it. So that's one game that I don't have a big box copy of that on PC. Of course, the original Metal Gear, if you go back to Metal Gear, which is another thing, you're going back to the MSX, which is a Japanese computer system. But that's way, way back in the 8-bit era. And then, of course, the NES version and the PC version of that. But that's a lot older. That's from the 80s. Open icebox in Lodge Kitchen. Nothing here but some Astro Chicken legs. That's a great idea.
That's a terrible idea.
It's easier in D flat than it is in C. I don't know if it's easier than D. I don't know. Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence version, it had both. Yes, as does, I think there's another game. I have the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, I think it's called, for PS3, and that contains the original MSX version. Yep, translated as well. Oh yes, Twin Snakes was a reissue of Metal Gear Solid 1 on GameCube. But that came out later, I believe. The chicken reel. Eden Wraith says there's the chicken reel. Sweet. Well, I'll show you what I can do. And I'll show you guys this real quick. We have the ability to go to our, YouTube here. And I'll switch it and I'm going to show what I have this on. This is, if you didn't know, the device called the MT32. And sorry, Julia, I know you can't see this. This is the device called the MT32 that we're using to do all the music and sound in the Crimson Diamond. And this is just somebody's website, synthmania.com, and a little blurb about what it is and what it's, possible to do with it.
Cool.
And it's a little just information. And then there's also a list of the patches, and you can see I've listened to some of these examples. There's also examples of each sound. Bank A is 1 through 64, and then Bank B is 65 through 128. And then there's the rhythm set, which is like the drum sounds, which would be on a different channel. Yeah, there's some cool stuff. Yeah, you see the little blurbs that they've written here is kind of cool. Classic Simmons style. Well, let's play this for a second because we have the ability to make noise. Let's make some noise. Let's show people what this sounds like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change on, you won't be able to see this at the same time, but I'm going to change my MIDI channel that I'm transmitting on so you can see. So electric percussion is 116. So on my general MIDI transmitting Pro Tools, I have to do one number less because it goes 0 through 127 instead of 1 through 128. That's a problem with MIDI if you care about that stuff. Very complicated. So there's the classic Simmons style electric perk 1 patch 116. Let's try another one. This says incredible special effects, water bells. Ooh. 127. Do we believe it?
Yes.
Okay, well let's test and see. Is it really incredible? It's something. I'm not sure incredible is the word I would use, but it's definitely something. One note jam, a bit fast. Let's try that one.
Oh dear.
I don't know what
510.43.
I don't know what year whoever wrote this website wrote this stuff, but Koto 106. They literally write 106 Koto, superb rendition of the Japanese instrument. Let me play it for you.
Ooh, that's nice.
I don't know if it's superb, but it's okay. And in 1987, in fairness, it probably was superb.
That sounds like a real thing.
Does it?
Can
I
we
don't
hear
know.
chicken reel on the Kodo?
Yes, we can.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Do we have a big Seinfeld slap bass? Is what the Hunter
Ye-
1043 wants to know.
So yes, that's actually a different instrument. That's really the Korg M1, which I can also show off later. Well, no,
Hmm.
let me show it off now. I lied. Let's show it off now because we can. You know, we're here doing our thing. We can do whatever the heck we want. Let me show that off. That's a completely different keyboard, but the cool thing about this is, I'll show you here. Let's go to them. There we go. Do we have a better view with both of Julia and myself? No, we just have Julia, but that's cool. At least you get to look at Julia. So there's the browser. This is actually a virtual instrument of the Korg M1. So if you look here, all these MIDI channels are transmitting, the purple channels are transmitting to the MT32 directly. But if I turn that off and record on this channel, that's the M1, the Korg M1. And I think, Sammy Buckets, I think this is also, no, I think it's a Roland that does the, I think it was the Roland that did a lot of this, but a lot of these Korg M1, this was a really famous keyboard in this era, the 88, 89, 90, somewhere in there, and it still sounds great. But let me see if I can find the slap bass from Seinfeld. I'm pretty sure it's the exact one in here.
Oh really? Oh god.
There you go. There's your Seinfeld. Your Seinfeld slap bass. Well, I'm pretty sure the composer used this keyboard because at the time, what year did Seinfeld come out? Early 90s, mid 90s?
Yeah.
It was out for quite a while, right? So there you go. Yeah, what is the deal with that? But that's the Korg M1, and it would be cool to use this to do the Crimson Diamond, but it would take us a little bit out of the immersion of the experience of using the MT32, to me. Yes, Toe Jam. That's another kind of sound. Let me see if I can figure out. I can't remember the Toe Jam song. And like most shows, pretty much never watched it. Now, I've seen Seinfeld, but I didn't watch it certainly when it was on. Hey, what's up, Feroy? So
Hello.
yeah, let's go back to the MT32. We made some noise. Let's go back to what we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about, or sorry, not talk about. We were going to show and play some Death Ditty music. So let's Crimson Diamond, where I'm from, that's called a ruby. Oops, wrong sound. Still wrong sound. Oh my goodness. This is why I don't have to do this live. Oh man. Yeah, a lot of these soundtracks were done on keyboards like the Korg M1, the Roland D50. The D50 is really the big brother or the parent of the MT32. It sounds a lot better, even though it uses the same synthesis style. The MT32 is really kind of like the king. Anyway, let's show off. I wanted to show some quick death music. So I'm going to switch back. Oop, where did I go? Oh, there I am. I'm going to switch back and show. Let's see here. going to show a couple of little clips. So let's go here. You guys may recognize this. This is a favorite. Quest for Glory 1. Sorry I skipped through all this because I just didn't care about all this because that was not the point of this exercise. But you can hear the music right now, and this is coming from the GOG version of this game, which is, I think, emulated MT32 or perhaps General MIDI. I think it might be General MIDI. It sounds, it sounds okay. Emulation is fine. The MUNT emulator to emulate the MT32 actually sounds exceptional. But the General MIDI, you're better off using a real SC. Oh yeah, and I was trying to remember how to create a death in this game. So I'm, Julia, you can't really see where I am, but I'm by the falls.
Okay.
Yes, and introducing that earworm is important, Eden Wraith, because that comes later. So I was trying to go by the falls and fall in, and I thought for some reason that you could fall in the water, but apparently you cannot fall in the water. That's which I found out. Did you read what? Did you read what?
Yeah.
Ferrari said?
Ferrari, don't go chasing waterfalls. I know.
Boy, you must have been really thirsty. So then I said, all right, let me try to get Henry the Hermit to knock me off the top of this thing. But I just started the game, so I have no strength and I can't climb. If I had half a brain, I would have just put my climbing skill to max and I would have been able to climb up there. All right,
Yeah,
now
11043 says it's very un-Sierra, and I do agree. These is like training wheels.
which?
I can't believe you couldn't die in the first screen.
Quest for Glory. Oh, yeah. But look, here we go. Here's a goblin. Here's an enemy. The weakest enemy in the game.
Just let him wail away.
If there was the big weak point in this game, it was certainly combat. There it is. There is our death ditty right there at the end. Let's play that one more time. We don't need to watch all this. Let's try this. Now, I'm going to ask a question of everybody. Could you guys all hear? Let's see if we can go back. There we go. There's Julia. Can you guys all hear how many instruments maybe we're playing at that? I saved, right? Well, I only had 3 points, so it's not such an issue. Could you guys hear how many instruments we're playing in that instance? 3? Hunter 1043 says. I think you're exactly right, Hunter 1043. Deluxe Tux got 3 as well. Yep. Yep. Play again, please. Sure. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think there's either 3 or 4. Let's play it one more time. And just see if we can get this. I think there might be 4. Whoops. Yeah, I'm hearing 4. I'm hearing 4, yep. So there's what I heard was you guys are calling it kettle drums. You could also call that timpani. So anybody know what a timpani is? Julia? No? It's basically a tuned, large, very large orchestral drum. It's used typically in orchestras, and they're tuned to pitches. So Hunter 1043 says, yep, we had those in school band. Yep, and they would have been in your school band, depending on how good of a music program you had. And you can tune them to pitches. Unlike a drum kit, you can tune a drum kit to pitches, but you wouldn't necessarily, you're not able to tune it per song on a per song basis unless you're recording. Live, you just have to tune it and hope for the best. Yep, you tune it with a pedal, that's right. Check out Glass Concerto for Orchestra and 2 Timpanis. So that's the Philip Glass Concerto for Orchestra and 2 Timpani. Philip Glass is actually the father of a pretty distinctive musical, maybe style or styles, which was, I think it was referred to as minimalist or something. It's very, very static style music. John Cage. John Cage is a different example, but similar. So yeah, let's hear this one more time. See if you can hear all 4 instruments. At least I hear 4 instruments. Maybe there's even more. Whoops. So you got the timpanis doing like all kinds of rolls, and then you have, oh God, you have Seinfeld. Hold on, let's switch back real quick. You have Seinfeld doing his thing. Let's see if I can get back to. Oh, I'm gonna need a real sound. So you have. Did I just change the key on us? Probably did. Hold on, let's see. We'll play it one more time. No, I kept the key right. So there was the melody, then you had the timpani, whatever it was doing. Then you had this, which is like a trumpet or horn inner voice. So you had this thing going. And then you had a bass, which was kind of doubling the timpani, so it was a little bit hard to hear. Let's see what There's the bass part. That was what was played at the end. So why is this important? Why does anybody care? Well, this is just part of the process that I would use to analyze how to kind of go about composing my own stuff. So let's say I'm new to this, and even if I'm not new to this, even if I'm where I'm at now, this is what I would do. I would do research. So the first thing I do is always research. And adventure games is cool because I'm help make an adventure game with Julia. So, but she already had the setting, she already had the characters, it was pretty much, the demo was finished, done. It was up and available before I think I started playing a note in the game. Is that right? That sounds right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So that was already there. So it wasn't like something we were discussing to decide or whatever. But I needed to do research. So I said, okay, Crimson, Ontario, sweet. Not a real place. Can't research the town itself other than the lore that Julia's written. But I can research, in a way, Canadian folk music, which was one of the places she's drawing from, or was the entire demo was Canadian folk music. The Sierra style, obviously, specifically Colonel's Bequest. What else? The time period of the game. So the time period is 1914, 1915-ish. So, very early 20th century. There wasn't a lot of things besides classical, ragtime, maybe very, very early jazz music. You didn't really get a lot of it until a little bit later. You may have known a tune or two from that era, but I don't know. It's tough. So that's the kind of research that I would be doing and saying, okay, what kind of classical music was being written and composed at this time? Where would they have heard this? Obviously, there's no TV. They wouldn't have had radio, right? in Crimson, Ontario, or they would have had potentially like a wax cylinder player. I think that's the first kind of like home other than the player piano. Yes, you might have had player piano, which there is player piano in the Colonel's Bequest, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of a famous part of the game where they play the
Mm-hmm.
entertainer and they play Maple Leaf Rag and stuff like that. So yep, you definitely would have had player piano rolls. But yeah, that was your radio. Your piano was your radio. Then eventually the wax cylinder, Victrola, whatever you want to call that machine. And if you haven't listened to that stuff, you got to listen to it. It's really cool. So this is part of the research. So the other reason I ask everybody here to give me suggestions is because I want you guys to kind of be involved in the research with us. I want you to suffer in a good way with us. Does that make sense? So we got through
encouraging participation as a good teacher would.
Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, I started music by teaching. I mean, my mother is a music teacher. My grandfather and uncle are both performers. My grandfather was an arranger for big band and other music, so I come from a legacy of musicians. And my grandmother on my father's side was actually a pianist of sorts, but she never played in front of me, not once. I wish she did. She had a piano. She gave it to me when she passed. I never heard her play it, at least that I can remember. Maybe when I was a baby she did. Yes, thanks, Bill. This was a gift from somebody that you might be familiar with. I can't remember her name, though. What's her name again? Nancy? No, not Nancy. Oh, Julia, sorry. Yes.
It might have been me.
Yeah, this was a gift from Julia right before we left for our trip to PAX East. For me, it was a drive. For Julia, it was a flight. And let's see here. Let's see if I can do one more of my tracks here. Oh, let's see.
Yeah, Deluxe Text remembers trips. What a blast from the past. Yeah, I don't plan on doing much traveling.
Yeah, sadly, the travel is going to be put a little bit on hold for probably a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So let's play another song you guys might be familiar with. I'm going to jump here. It kind of gives it away, but you'll hear it. And sadly, this is also the GOG version, which is somewhat poorly emulated PC speaker. Yeah, sorry, Kisai. Yeah, I skipped the intro. And I sped it up because I was trying to skip the entry of the wizard here. But this I figured out how to die pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Revealing
This
a lever
one.
attached. Uh-oh. You're up to no good, Gwydion. Manan snarls through clenched teeth. Never again will you discover my secrets. There it was. There was the little death ditty. So now this is an easy one. There was only one instrument because the PC speaker didn't really properly have a way to play more than one note at a time, I don't think. I think it had to be kind of faked if you wanted to do more than one note. But there's a whole long, great description and video on the subject of PC speaker. My buddy Jim Leonard, who is, I'm trying to remember his YouTube address. He's one of the founders of Moby Games, but he's also a huge demo scener, and he's like kind of one of my gurus as far as old computer hardware is concerned. And I was asking him to do some demos on the PC speaker, how to compose music on the PC speaker, but he linked me to somebody that had already done all that work. So I'll see if I can find that link at some point. Yeah, DOSBox should have the Tandy music. So the Tandy 3 voice, the Tandy was it was a different system, but it was compatible with IBM. So if you had a Tandy version of the game, you would get a little bit better sound. Now, does anybody know the composer of this, by the way? King's Quest 3, who was the composer? Deluxe Tuck says that wasn't a great death, did he? I don't think it wasn't very deathly or deathy to my ears. Yeah, I mean, it's a cartoony-ish game. Jason Bourne was not the composer, but that's a good guess. And I'll play it. So it's funny. We could talk about that this musically for a little bit because it's even though it's a really simple one single note line. Let's play it again. Yes, Eden Wraith says Margaret Lowe or Al Lowe. That's correct. Margaret Lowe is credited with doing the music in the game, and Al Lowe is credited as doing programming for the. I think he's the lead programmer. If they had that title back then, he was the lead programmer on this game. So interesting to note, right? Let's see if we can hear this again. Pretty cool. I actually like it. So weirdly, it implies, yeah, Moby Games lists it, and also the game itself. The game itself lists Margaret Lowe as the composer. If I had this in video, not a video capture, if I had the actual game playing, I could show that off. But yep, that I believe, and I assume that that's Al Lowe's wife. I didn't actually know the answer to that, but I assume that is her, his wife. And he must have dragged her into composing and working with him at Sierra. And I wonder, if you've ever watched any of those interviews with Al Lowe, he was a contractor at Sierra at first. Or no, I'm lying. He was first an employee, then became a contractor because Ken Williams said, listen, if you become a contractor, I can't pay you anything now, but you could potentially make more off the royalties. And of course, whenever Leisure Suit Larry or whatever, it worked. So the original story is, Kisai Tenchi is telling us, Sierra bought his company. So yep, he must have been a hell of a programmer, and I don't know how the heck he got all those skills. Composer, jazz musician, programmer, and game designer, right? Wasn't he designing
Yep.
Leisure Suit Larry, the whole series? I guess the brainchild of him and was it Mark Crow or Scott Murphy that was helping him with it? Or was it both?
I don't know. I also know he did Freddy Farkas. He designed that one.
Yeah, that was much later though. By that time, I just don't know how you even come up with Leisure Suit Larry. And he basically said, well, soft porn adventure sold well, so let's make Leisure Suit Larry. Well, I mean, that was his pitch in a way. If you know, Soft Porn Adventure was one of Sierra's early adventure games, and it was adult-themed adventure. Yeah, Torrens Passage, the Deluxe Tuck said. But both of those games were quite a bit later. Like, those are in the 90s by this time. Yes, Donald Duck's Playground, that was also Al Lowe. I remember playing that one on the Amiga, and on the Amiga it's a fantastic port. And I still haven't been able to find a nice, clean copy of that in a box. But that's okay. Why don't we go back and we'll be able to see us again. So I wanted to show this off. Oh, there you go. Al Lowe started programming to make programs for school since he was a school teacher. Yeah, that's right. He was wasn't he an English teacher? Is that right?
I don't know, actually.
Or am I lying about that? Am I confusing him with Cannonball Adderley? High school band director. Cannonball Adderley was an English teacher. Maybe a more well-known sax player, not so much a game designer. But yeah. And this is a book I was showing on the King's Quest III subject. This is a book I was showing to Julia the other day that my buddy LP from the Big Box PC Game Collectors Facebook group and podcast sent to me. This is the official book of King's Quest, which is really, I guess the best way to describe it, it's like a hint book. And the foreword is by Roberta Williams, so I'm assuming she had some say in how this was done, but I'm not sure how great of a close-up I'm going to be able to get, but I'm going to try to show some pictures off. Let's see here. Let me move this up. Now those first pictures are not terribly interesting, but I'm going to show you something really what I thought was really cool, because this really kind of. Oh, and then we actually see for the wizard's magic wand. Interesting. We actually can see some development screens from the game. So this is kind of what I thought applied really well to what Julia was doing, or is doing.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is very similar to what Adventure Game Studio can do and how it does things as well. And I'm sure it took a page out of SCI Editor for that very much.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. This was just, of course, much more clunky and early. And you can see some of the, you can even see this is some of the animation. I'm actually not sure if this is from King's Quest IV, but it shows one of the animation sequences here, which is pretty cool. And sadly, you can't see any of this, can you, Julia?
Nope, but
'Cause
I
of where
can
I'm
see it kind of
holding
on
it.
delay on the thing. Very nice, yeah. Yep.
So this is just, it's just cool little pictures in history. Oh, and this is great. This is fantastic. This is like the walkable areas in the game.
Yes, yes.
So it's showing you what they would call hotspots, I think, in Adventure Game Studio.
They call them walkable areas. Like
Walkable
there's
areas.
different, yeah, things are different aspects are labeled different things. There's walkable areas, walk behinds, hotspots, and regions.
Gotcha.
Different,
So I think the second one is actually showing walk behinds. The colors designate,
yeah.
the colors designate priority. So if you were to walk on the red area, but in front, you wouldn't be able to walk in front of the yellow because the yellow would, your character would be perceived behind the yellow. Yep, priorities in. Is this AGI or is this SCI?
With that was King's Quest IV.
Yes.
I think they had a version.
They had both.
Yeah. Yeah.
This says SCI.
Okay.
So yeah, this says SCI, but who knows?
And Bill Kuhn said that recently Ken Williams announced on a Sierra Facebook group that he's writing a book about the history of Sierra.
Yep.
Didn't know that.
Ken Williams just recently announced it. Yep, that's right. And this book, The Sierra Adventure, The Story of Sierra Online by Sean Mills came out today, I think. Or the backers got a PDF copy of it today. I'm not too sure. Let's see here. But yeah, Ken Williams, that should be pretty cool that he's writing that book. I mean, I don't think he actually remembers a lot of the history, or maybe he's not like Richard Garriott, where you have different pieces of history from Richard Garriott that some remember better than others. But interestingly enough, there's some early Sierra adventure games are like maybe among the most collectible of the big box PC games, even though they're not big box PC games. They all came in baggies, like little Ziploc bags, which is kind of weird. So yeah, that book came out today. But yeah, the early adventure games was where Roberta Williams and Ken Williams started Sierra. And some of their earliest games are probably not even games that most people would know. Like there's a game called Trap Shoot and Skeet Shoot. And then later you get Mystery House, which I believe was their first adventure game. That was Roberta Williams' first adventure game. And it wasn't the first adventure game, but it was the first Sierra adventure game. I believe the first adventure game was Adventure or Colossal Cave Adventure, whatever you call it. And I think that was published by Microsoft. But I'm not 100% certain on that, but I'm pretty sure that that's where they all started. And at the first, the Colossal Cave Adventure was not a graphic adventure. I think Mystery House might have been the first graphic text adventure.
Yeah, that's how it's billed, I think.
Yeah. So you didn't do anything. It wasn't like you moved a character around or anything like that. I think the first King's Quest really started that. But the original Mystery House had graphics, which was, kind of just like, here's a screen, and you're still basically playing a text adventure, but now you have a picture to accompany your text, which is pretty cool. I mean, I played some games like that. If you ever played Treasure Island, the adventure game Treasure Island.
I haven't played that. I've just been playing actually
Below the
modern
Root.
stuff that is like that, where it's just the static image and like text parser. And I love that actually. I love that style.
Oh, can you name a couple?
Yeah. On Itch.io, there's something called Adventure On, and let's see. I'm gonna just put it in chat. Adventure On, Adventuron. So what it is, it's like a game engine that is apparently really easy to use, and there's a lot of really good tutorials that are built into it and everything.
Well, can I
And it's
share it
for
on the YouTube thing?
what's that?
Can I show it off on the?
Oh yeah. I'm sure it has. I don't know if it
No, it
has
doesn't
anything
look
on
like it's
YouTube.
working at the moment. Why is that? I don't know. We're getting a black screen. I don't know. Might have to do that later.
Cool. Well, anyway, like there's a ton of games you can play for free that are made by this engine Adventure on, and you can play them in the mobile. You can play it on your phone. You can play it on PC. It's a browser-based engine too, so you just need to have a browser to be able to use this thing, and it's really cool. And it's just a static image, text parser, super easy. I'm actually playing through a bunch of game jam games because Chris Ainsley, who made it, he organizes all these game jams, and it's just really quick little bite-sized, like 5 to 10 minute games. And for me, that's really great because I don't have time to play like multiple hour games. It's just really quick hits of really small little fun little text parser adventure games.
That's pretty cool.
And that Legend Entertainment had a lot of text parser. Yeah, Deluxe Tux, Lex Eric the Unready. Yeah, that type of thing. I'm a huge. Well, you know, I'm such a huge fan of the text parser because I'm making one. But it's just my favorite
That's
interface.
who did the Why am I drawing a blank on the name? Bob. What is his name? Bob. Is it Bob Bishop? I want to say. That's not the right name.
Bob Bates,
Bob
Deluxe Tux.
Bates. Yes, I think. Is that the right name? Why can't I think of it? It's the guy who did all the Legend Entertainment games. I'm trying to see if I
Yeah.
can find that right now. Bob Bates. Bob Bates. Yep. Companions of Xanth, Eric the Unready, Gateway, Shannara, I think that's how it's pronounced, which was actually eventually worked on by Corey Cole as well, wasn't it?
Hmm.
I never really played too many of those games, but they were all kind of they were supposed to be interactive fiction in a way. They were supposed to be um, they were supposed to be kind of a combination of like what we define as the classic kind of Sierra game, but it had less. I guess there was more emphasis on the narrative than there was on and the text part if they were text parsers and the graphics than the actual like animations and stuff like that. Because I remember playing
Hmm.
pieces of Companions of Xanth and it had some cool stuff. Yeah, and people love those games. People love those games. Yep, Bob Bates. Yeah, would have been nice to have some of those games in just 20 years ago when I wrote a text adventure game. But yeah, well there you go. Yeah, I mean text adventures are still really like I always thought about if you're going to make your own first game, what would be the easiest first game to make? And a text adventure is actually not what I would think of as the easiest thing to do, even though people are able to do it in like a game jam setting. A platformer would definitely not be the easiest thing to do unless you're using a ton of assets that are pre-done and a ton of like uh, like a preformed some kind of engine like maybe Pico 8 or something. But yeah, you certainly didn't have those tools back then. But think about it like game design from a perspective of forget about video games for a second. Just think about the game itself, right? Like you could in theory write a choose your own adventure novel of the Crimson Diamond if you wanted to, right? Wouldn't that be possible?
Yeah.
Would not be
The thing is
easy.
yeah, to make choose your own adventure, you need to like algorithms and math, and you need to do all these charts and stuff. But I'm sure it's possible. I mean,
Yeah.
they've been made before.
Writing a text parser is not particularly easy. I would agree. I don't think it's the easiest thing to do. Maybe to program tic tac toe or something like that, or match, or something with not a lot of, or guess the number between 1 and 10. That might be a good place to start. you know, yeah, there are tons of asset packs, and if anybody, is it surprisingly difficult? There you go. Yeah, so Sammy Buckets is my brother for if you don't know, and he programs. He's a programmer, but he works for a startup in Seattle, which is where we are from. And what language are you using, Sammy? I don't know any of them. I know about all of them, but I don't know any of them. Twine seems to be
Yeah,
built.
Twine is really it's if you want to make a simple text parser game, Twine is a really good place to start for sure.
And there's another engine that's kind of cool that's made by a guy out here that lives out here by me called RenPy, but that's really
Yeah.
for what do they call them?
Visual novels.
Visual novels. Yep,
Yeah.
visual
Yeah.
novels. Yep. Tic Tac
So
Toe
I
is
think
fairly yes, RenPy, and
yes, I think
Tom
a
is the
lot of
guy that makes it.
yes, Tom.
He's part of our local meetups, so I've met him I think once or twice before they shut down the whole meetup thing. So choose your own adventure books were simplistic
Mhm.
though. Yeah, they were. And actually I remember there was a book, I can't remember what it was, but it was actually like a book, a choose your own adventure style book, but you had like hit points and you had to keep track of it separately and there were like dice rolls and stuff. It was pretty cool. I don't remember what it was though. I wonder if
Yeah,
I have any of this at home.
there's a series called Fighting Fantasy or something like that.
Maybe
I
that's what it
remember
was.
people at Adventure X mentioning that. It's just this really I've never played them. I've only had the Choose Your Own Adventure books, and I actually have some Choose Your Own Adventure picture books upstairs.
You do?
Um,
Ooh. You know
they're
they're hard
actually
to find.
what's that?
The choose your own adventure novels are kind of difficult to find and somewhat pricey now.
Well, these are like big picture book ones that were like for younger kids, but I loved them when I was
Oh, I
a
never
kid.
tried those. The Super
I'll
Mario
bring them.
series of choose your own adventures. I'm not even familiar with those. Lone Wolf.
I've never heard of those either. That's really cool.
Lone Wolf. Chrome offline dinosaur game kind. Mario is missing. Yeah, I hated that game.
Because everyone wanted a Mario game, and that's a big, huge letdown. I think if expectations were not there, I think it would have gone okay.
Well, even more of a letdown was if you had a PC only and you didn't have a console as a kid, like myself.
Yep,
That
me
was the
too.
first Mario game I remember playing. I'm like,
Oh
what
yeah,
is this? This is trash compared to,
yeah.
where's I want to jump on stuff and
Hmm.
eat mushrooms and, grow. And none of that happened. You just go around searching for stuff. Like, time. I don't want to do research. What is this? Carmen San Diego? No. Dan bought the only console we ever had in 2002, a PS1. It would have been before 2002, but yes, it was the only one we ever owned while I lived there. I bought it because of Metal Gear Solid too. Ooh, speaking of which, I
Yes.
lost the ability, I think, to for some reason, it seems like I lost the ability to share. Oh no, there it is. Okay, good. Let's do this. Metal Gear Solid Death original game. See if that comes up. That's the full evolution. We don't really want that. Very incomplete. Complete. All right, let's try this. Let's see what happens. Oh, he did the MSX games too? Okay, no, we'll have to skip through this. That's what I was looking for right there. Really quick ditty, but very memorable. Awesome stuff. So let's see, there's two more of these in here.
Ocelot, you did it again. Sorry, boss.
Am I playing that wrong? I'm playing that wrong.
Sorry, but Ocelot. Did it again.
Interesting. Interesting use of harmony there. I would kind of liken that to, I don't know, kind of reminds me of some Square stuff in a way because of the use of like the fifths. And kind of keeping that repeated G in there. Anyway, that was pretty cool. So let's go back. We'll jump back to us. So there's a good one. Let's go to, what was our next one? Super Castlevania 4.
Mm-hmm.
I don't actually know this one.
Well, I guess depending on what game it is, you either hear it a lot or very seldom.
Yeah, I mean, I would think in Super Castlevania 4, you're probably pretty used to hearing a fair amount of death music. Any of the Castlevania games. I mean, I don't think anybody ever played one and just ran right through it without dying. Player miss? There it is. That's probably it, right?
It's kind of great.
According to this YouTube video, it's 6 seconds.
It sounds like the wheels are coming off because it's just.
Yeah, and it just slows down, right?
Yeah.
That one's pretty cool.
Oh, Bilkun says it's Castlevania 2. That one.
This is Super Castlevania 4. I think they sound similar because I think they're based off of each other. You'd have to help me out on the composers' names and stuff like that. Let's see. Let's type in Castlevania 2. But that music is definitely not capable of being reproduced on the original NES.
So why do you think games have this music?
That's a good question. I think it's a cue. It's like, it's just to kind of like give the player a cue. No?
To say you're done now?
Yeah. I mean, you died, but you should still be encouraged to originally. There you go. There's the Famicom version. So it's the same even in the original. That's the MSX2 version. That is the Famicom Wii version. There's Simon's Quest, so that's Castlevania 2. There's Castlevania 3. So it's literally the same in every game. Interesting. So Alfred made a point. His point was, I don't know if he's still here. Let's tag him. Nope, I think he's gone. He made a point that Castlevania death themes. Well, guess what? We just played like 5, 6 of them. They're all the same. Da-da.
When you think about it, even Mario games have death music, like Super Mario Brothers.
Yep, let's play the Super Mario one because I think the original Super Mario Brothers is probably the most signature death music of all time. Did they even have a lot of death music before then? I don't know. Probably they did. Let's see here. Here we go. Well, this guy's just doing different deaths. He's not actually playing the music. There's another video here. Oh, you guys aren't seeing this, are you? Let me make it so everybody can see this.
But it is strange now that I think about it, because especially in those earlier games where space was at a premium, you know, every single bit is accounted for. They're going to put death music in? It's kind of amazing.
Well, and how big is the original Mario? Like 32K or something like that? Yeah. So this is the original Mario Brothers. It's pre-Super Mario Brothers. Somebody's using an emulator because that sounded awful. So now in the case of Mario, that's interesting because let's rewind this. Let's do this again. Okay, there's one death sound. There's two death sounds. So we've already gotten, like, we have, in this game, you have lives. So you have the possibility of running out of lives, which would give you two different, possible deaths, which is kind of cool.
Oh yes, lives lost versus game over. Yeah.
Lives lost versus game over. Whereas in an adventure game, you don't usually have lives lost. You just have game over or whatever,
Yes.
right? Death music in Mario gets quite a bit of mileage, and as does Castlevania. Wait, I thought there were no murders in the Crimson Diamond. How is the player going to die? Well, we can't give away too many spoilers, but don't go chasing waterfalls, if I had to give any advice.
Well, that's not in the demo, you see.
But it's still in the game.
Yes.
And it's been shown off. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not giving any spoilers, mostly because I don't know most of them, but that one we've well, if I haven't, Julia's definitely demoed the death or whatever. And so Nintendo games had a good habit of reusing their themes, but with all new sound capabilities of the new system. Eventually, the GarageBand started playing them with real instruments, putting them on the internet circa 2000. Yeah, and now you have actual bands that tour off of just playing video game music. There's a band called the Bit Brigade. Am I pronouncing that right? They tour. There's the 8-bit big band. Now there's a 16-bit big band. And it's kind of cool. I mean, I think to me, it's getting a little bit tired at this point. But what I think would be really cool is if one of those bands did an original game soundtrack. That would be pretty cool. The closest things, it's hard to say that there's anything too close to that. You had the Cuphead stuff, which was sort of a jazz big band. Yeah, I think the Black Mages used to tour just on Final Fantasy music. Yeah. I mean, listen, you got to make your money any way you can as a musician. It's very, very, very difficult. Alligator, falling chandelier, kicked by horse. Yes. But yeah, I mean, I don't really want to hear the Contra theme again played any other way. I don't really want to hear the Mario theme that many other ways. I would love to hear more original stuff where people are kind of taking chances. Like, let's say you play the accordion, and yes, you played the Super Mario theme, but let's do something, something more original now, or incorporate your own thing in with it. It's also tough because of the copyright issue. So can we talk about that, by the way, Julia, a little bit?
Sure.
Do you want to
I don't know what you mean by talk about copyright issue.
Well, so if you guys were with us 2 weeks ago on the stream, and let's do two things. If you're just joining us, we are here. I am Julia. This is Dan. Julia is making the Crimson Diamond, which is a EGA text parser based in a fictional Ontario town in the early 1900s.
Yeah, and Dan, I'm the musician behind it. I'm using a Roland MP32 for the music.
Nice.
And yeah,
wow.
I play keyboards.
Awesome. No, the second part is I wanted to talk about. A couple weeks ago, I showed off some music that I had worked on previously, and also some music that was influential. And one of those songs was by Raekwon. Two of the songs were by Raekwon. One of them I produced, and then one of them was a piece that influenced me back when I was younger and a kid. And what happened was, Sam Taki. All right. Thank you for coming, as always, sir. We will see you on the next one. Yep, I'll hit you up later. Sylvain, what's up, man? Good to have you here. We didn't get a copyright strike. We got a copyright claim. And it was from the record label that owned the master of Heaven or Hell, which was one of the songs we played, and also the owner of Visiting Hour, which is the other record that we played. Now, interestingly enough, I am partially a copyright holder of the IP of one of those tracks. Well, not very much, and I don't have control over whether it gets copyright claimed or not. But I do get paid some exorbitant fraction of a penny for every time it's claimed and paid out or played on YouTube. But what happened was they said, okay, so you use this music. The copyright holder has said you're using this music in your video, even though the video is how long? 3.5 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And they basically said, what did they gave you a couple of options, right? You can take off the video. You could take down the video completely. You can leave the video as is, and they'll put ads on it, right? And then the other option was to try to mute it.
Yeah. You could either try to just mute that. Well, there's mute the whole section of all audio. There was something they're trying in beta, which is just mute the song and leave the rest of the audio, or just completely clip that amount of video to just truncate in like a splicer almost. Like each splice and you just take away that part. So the first one I tried was the beta, which is just mute the music and then see. But for each claim, it takes them a few hours to process and review it, I guess. So and there were 2 claims, so then I kind of have to leave it and forget about it for like a couple days. Come back to it, that didn't work. So I tried the second one, which was just mute that whole section, and that seemed to work just fine. So the claims are gone.
So it fixed it. It fixed the problem. Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
What's up, Rick? We got more of the guys from my class. We got Rick 3636 in here.
Hello.
And we got Ian in here as well. Yeah, the Tandy 3-voice chip was the same, similar to the Sega Master System Game Gear Coleco. That's as fancy as you would have gotten in an AGI game. It only does square wave and noise. The NES SPU has a PSG and does square and triangle. Yeah, and interestingly enough, the Sega Master System, depending on which version you had, was way fancier or less fancier. There was an FM synthesizer version of the Master System, which would have been able to emulate something, or not emulate, it would have been able to sound similar to something like the OPL chip in the ad-lib synthesizer, which is probably something a lot of us were familiar with, the ad-lib emulation in a synthesizer. So that's probably what most of us had when we were playing these adventure games back in the 80s and early 90s. That's certainly what I had. I had some cheap OPL emulation. Julia probably had the same thing. We certainly didn't have a $700 MT32 or even General MIDI stuff. And General MIDI wasn't even available until a little bit later. I think 1990, 1991 is when you first got General MIDI. I think 90. And that was the SC55, which was the first Roland MIDI box that they kind of pitched as a General MIDI synthesizer, but certainly they had other stuff. Oh, so this is interesting. Yeah, who are the people with expensive computers? I don't know. Maybe they're not even, I guess Al Lowe said they sold pretty well. So Sierra and Roland partnered up on the MT32 to do a package. Anna, what's going on? Good to have you here too.
Welcome home, Anna.
Yeah. She's in Canada too, right? Victoria? Nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's a beautiful, beautiful city.
It is.
Ancient, or not ancient, that's the wrong word.
Historic.
Historic, yeah, that's the right word. So yeah, where was I? Something about sounds and all these and how they were generated. So Ian Air 97 just mentioned Koji, which is the second time that plugin has been mentioned, and Koji is a plugin to emulate Super Nintendo music, which is actually a really pretty cool plugin. I don't think I have it on my Mac, so I don't know if I can show it off, but I do own it, and it's like $5 if you do any DAW work. Anybody who wants to mess with composition and stuff. Oh yes, General MIDI. Now let's talk about the Corporal MIDI. That's actually the first time I heard that joke. Nice work, Eric. I'm proud of you. Yeah, General MIDI is just what's the best way to put it? It's the protocol which is used to talk to a box. But the MT32 predates General MIDI, which became a standard almost immediately after. And it doesn't use General MIDI, and it makes it really difficult to program on. And if you watch some of our previous streams, you can see just how difficult it is. Yes, MT32 is an LA synth, which means linear arithmetic synthesis. I don't know a lot of how deep it gets and how the exact synthesis style works. But the father of the MT32 is the Roland D50, which was released about the same time, but it was a keyboard. Don't let Commander MIDI hear that. Yeah, well, these guys have dad jokes like me, even though Eric's not a dad yet. These guys have dad jokes like me. Sergeant MIDI. Sergeant MIDI's, wasn't that a Beatles album?
Oh my gosh.
See, dad jokes. Hold on, let me put that in here real quick. There we go. All right, now we're in business. Colonel MIDI. Colonel MIDI, didn't he commit the crime with the
Colonel MIDI
candlestick?
Dijon?
No, Colonel MIDI with the candlestick in the study.
Right. Well, Flat Studio
Julius.
approves. Well, not surprisingly, as a dad, he approves of the jokes. So
Dad bod, dad jokes. Let's go. Who cares if it's summer? That sounds like Tic Tacs. You have Tic Tacs there? I want some Tic Tacs.
Yeah, they're actually
Ooh.
limited edition Coca-Cola Tic Tacs.
Oh, you got the Coca-Cola Tic Tacs.
They're really good.
I
Made
want
with
some.
made with Coca-Cola, like real whatever that means.
Real cocaine?
I guess so.
Was cocaine ever actually in Coca-Cola? That was like the rumor. I think that was just like a wives' tale, though. I
No,
don't know.
apparently it was.
It was, right?
Mhm.
No, yes. Old short story. Give me some. That is true. Plum wine, and cocaine. My favorite mix. Yes. Bartender, can I get a palm wine and cocaine, please?
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
it was well, all that stuff
Was
like
made from
liquor
the
and
earth.
stuff was like medicinal too.
Right, you had to get really wasted before surgery because they didn't have proper anesthesia. It's a good time to be alive. Let's just put it that way.
Yes,
It's a good.
it really is.
Electricity's nice. Air conditioning's wonderful. Tic Tacs.
Mhm.
All these things. We didn't have Tic Tacs. Don't worry, it's prescribed by Dr. Pepper. Yes. Who the hell was Dr.
Oh
Pepper?
gosh.
And where did he get his degree to practice, or where does he get a license to practice? Jeez.
I don't think he's using that degree. He's probably got it in something like really serious, like cardiology or something. Then, he just uses his title, but he's not really using
Oh,
his
man.
his training.
You'd think he'd have to become a diabetes specialist or something. Hi, Roberta. What's going on?
Hey, Roberta.
Welcome. We got a lot of people just jumping in. That's awesome. The first Dr.
Yeah.
Pepper was served 10 years before Frederick Douglass passed away. Interesting. Medicinal brandy. Dr. Pepper was a snake oil salesman. Doctor of sales. Well, Dan, actually, back in the day, people actually thought smoking was good for you. Yes, that is actually true. That's actually very true.
Doctor's brand cigarettes.
Speaking of
things
which,
like
can
that.
I get a cigarette? Mind
Yeah,
if I have a cigarette?
exactly.
I don't smoke, but I feel like vitamins and cigarettes.
Well, in army rations, they used to have amphetamines in them to like help you get through those tough times.
Well, they still pilots, Air Force pilots anyway. They're still encouraged to. I don't know if it's actually amphetamines, but I know they use caffeine pills and things like that because some of them have to fly crazy amounts of time and stuff like that. So, oh, nice. Roberta's moving up to
Cool.
the Seattle area, which is my hometown, of course. The initial sales of Coca-Cola, it was a popular drink at pharmacies that had soda fountains and was, in the early 1900s, made from coca leaf and sugar. Wow, so that must have been a hell of an adventure to have a Coke back then. It's like, hey, yeah, give me a Coke. Woo. Man, and the kids would drink it too? Or was it like a taboo thing to have your kid drink it? Because back in the day, and even in some other countries, it's not really such a taboo thing to let kids drink wine and beer as it is in
It was safer.
the U.S. Was it safer?
Yeah, the water sanitation wasn't that great sometimes, and so it was safer to have them drink booze.
Ah, because it killed the stuff.
Yeah.
And Pablo Escobar hadn't got a hold of all the cocaine just yet. So interesting. Fermentation sanitized. This needs to be in the game. Coca-Cola.
Yeah, we were talking once. We were talking about a game and game music that I don't know where we got derailed.
I would not want to be on that flight, Rick. 3636. No.
And you worked to Singapore.
I've been on some long flights. Oh yeah. So we were talking yesterday. Julie and I, if you guys jumped in. Yeah, wait, this is a game music stream? No. This is Julia and Dan going nuts stream. I'm Julia
This
if
is
you didn't know.
shambles.
This is
This is
Dan.
completely derailed.
Just chatting, yeah.
Hmm.
No, we were talking yesterday about some of the travel and some of the various different things that I'd worked on musically, and it was kind of interesting. We were kind of ranting. We were really just trying to test yesterday. We were just trying to test if see if we could get YouTube to play on stream live, and we were able to get it. But then we ended up just hanging out and talking. I showed some music videos and some other music that I'd worked on. I don't even remember all of it, but I'll probably show some in a little bit. So let's see. Safer to drink the wine than the water in Spain. My dad was an army brat and said they drank wine over there because the water could make them sick. Damn. Just rambling. Yes, that's what we need to be, Rick. Yeah, I mean, in certain countries that I've traveled to, certainly there's plenty of places where it says don't, it literally says on your, like, in your bathroom, don't drink this water. Or, I was always told when I went to places in Africa, you don't even want to try to swallow any of the water, like in the shower. You got to be real careful about all those things. And it's a real thing. I think there's plenty of places. And listen, even in the U.S., I think they still have a real problem with their water in Michigan. It's crazy. I wish that weren't a thing, but it is a thing. So yeah, save water, drink beer, as they say. That's all liberal BS. Yeah, sadly it's not. I've been to the countries and seen it. Let's see here. I think I got everything right. The other rambling man. Oh, I'm a serious rambling man. It's not even funny, Hannah. But let's delve into some composing. What do you guys think? Should we do that?
Oh, it's about time. What time is it? Perfect.
We're only an hour in, 90 minutes in.
Yeah, it's fine. We're just warming up.
Rambling death music. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see which view we should take today. How about this one? No. Big Julia, little Julia.
Little? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I kind of like Big Julia. Because there's
All
not
right,
really
Big
much
Julia.
to look at on the Pro Tools today.
I don't get called Big Julia like very often in real life, so I'm more than happy to be called it now.
Yeah, if anybody has met Julia in person, you'll know she's just over 7 feet tall. It's kind of intimidating a little bit, to be honest with you.
It's a problem when I fly, but you know, just make sure you get the exit row.
Yeah, or first class. She only flies first class. So, Mr. Kiki logging off. It's 2 a.m. in London. Oh, nice. Need to be up in 5 hours. We'll catch the stream archive. Good luck finding the Death Ditty. Well, thank you for tuning in. We enjoyed having you here for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Kiki. Sorry, we are just getting down to business now. It takes a while to get settled in, as you can see.
Yeah, Roberta, what would you say? 7'1", 7'2", something in there. She's like about the size of Shaquille O'Neal, if you guys know. Okay. So let's draw on some influence real quick. Wait. So there's the Quest for Glory, right?
Yes.
The QF, the King's Quest 3 was. Da, 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 da.
Bum, 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 bum. Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah, she was in the WNBA, as a matter of fact. She's as tall as trolls. And you know what I didn't do? I didn't average the time of each one, but I believe I have my chart here. Let me see.
Oh, sure.
Where is it?
Did you really?
No.
Oh my
I
gosh,
didn't
it's not
average the
joking.
time. I have your email that you had sent to me.
Oh, okay.
And I printed it out. So I have a few notes from Julia, but the one important note for today: 5 to 7 second death ditty like Sierra games have.
Yes.
Okay. Does this one work? No. I think that's the one for now. So that's where we're at. And if we notice with the Super Castlevania 4 and really all the Castlevania games leading up to it, they were all about 6 seconds ish. And what was cool about that one is it slowed down. So it was at one tempo and it kind of slowed down. I think that was it. I think that was roughly it, right? Da, 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 and it kind of slowed down, which was cool.
Yeah.
So what Quest for Glory did that was interesting was they kind of took a variation of the hero theme. And then they changed that part. And then they went. So it's kind of a variation of that part, right?
Yes.
Classic Gamers Guild, what is up? Thanks for coming
And
in.
Kisai Tenchi says same in Space Quest. So my question to you, of course, is that what you have in mind for the Crimson Diamond Death music to be
This
based on the theme music?
So that's a good question, and the answer is maybe. I would think about it as an option because when you're doing this research, this isn't something that I would just have thought of maybe completely out of the blue. It was something like we were discussing earlier. A couple of you guys just joined, Roberta, Rick, Anna. We actually did a little bit of research before, if you want to call it that. We did some playing of different little death ditties from Super Mario to Castlevania to King's Quest 3, Quest for Glory 1. So basically we were using those as kind of like inspiration and ideas. So what we were just saying was the Quest for Glory 1 uses a theme which you'd actually, if you want to get music nerdy, one was in a major key, a very positive, uplifting, happy thing, and then the death theme was in a minor key. But in a way, if you think about a lot of them, Castlevania is kind of I would consider slightly darker death ditty, whereas, and I think King's Quest 3 was kind of darker, but it kind of had like a light to it as well. Yeah, it was kind of a little silly, and a lot of the Quest for Sierra games are kind of a little silly, right? You kind of feel that, like. So what I also noticed is we really analyzed heavily the Quest for Glory theme. It had the most instruments, I think, other than maybe the Metal Gear Solid, which is way, way later. It had like 4 instruments. The King's Quest 3 only had 1 because that particular version only had the option of using 1 sound. So, interestingly enough, if you want to get music nerdy, that's a really bizarre chord. I would hear it as like a 5 chord resolving to the minor 1. So you have the what you'd consider a dominant chord. You'd have the 4th, which isn't usually in a dominant chord, and you have the flat 9. So really, it's a flat 9, sus flat 9 chord, which is very common in more modern jazz. But you can't really hear all that unless you're listening and analyzing it and nerdy like myself when you play that game, because it only has 1 note at a time. So you could even say this is a 4 chord, but even then, that's still an out chord. It's pretty cool. So it even changes itself. So maybe it's that's a really bizarre chord to be in the key of E flat minor. which that ditty is. And the reason I like it is because it does both things well. It kind of gives me like an what's the feeling? It's just kind of like ugh. It's just like a little bit like irritating, but but spooky, but then also happy, like eerily happy. Like what the hell is this? What happened? How did I just die? What do you mean I fell off the cliff? Unbelievable. And if you saw
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, we raided the Renaissance's channel right after we were done streaming, and it was fantastic because he was playing King's Quest 3, and it was ridiculous. He was at the end of the game, and there's just oh my god, if you've played that game or Stair Quest or something like that, it's just ridiculous. There's so many like you got to walk through this little tiny area here and hope you don't fall down and. Ugh, I should have used that as the death music and just walked out the door and walked off the cliff immediately.
I love your interpretation of how with the feelings you get from that King's Quest 3 death music because I totally agree with spooky, yet kind of like a bit goofy at the end, where it's almost
Silly.
like it's silly, where it don't take this too seriously. You just fell off a cliff, but it's it's kind of fine it's just a funny thing that happened to you, right? It's not meant to
It's like,
be
oh,
a
haha.
tragic thing.
It's still a Roberta Williams game. Haha, you died. Funny. Try it again.
Yeah, exactly. And
And
I
there's
think it's
also a
perfect.
real-time clock in the game or whatever. What's the thing that gives you anxiety about this game?
Yeah, just
The
the
clock.
running time across the top. It's the worst. It's
By
the
the way, you're
worst.
whack. You haven't solved this game fast. It's worse than Prince of Persia in a way. You don't have a 60-minute clock. You've got a worse clock than that. What they say, it would be cool to have a really musical ear like Dan's. Well, okay, so here's my theory on this. I always thought it was something that could be learned really easily, and it can be learned really easily, not so much. And I think there is a degree to which you are born with it, and I recently believe that because, and it's also genetic, because my daughter, who's 19 months, sings full songs, which is really kind of, I think, unusual from what I understand about a 19-month-old, and she matches pitch, which is also really unusual. And I didn't teach her that necessarily. That was just something that she has in there. What's going on? Yes, Roberta, we talked about Margaret Lowe a little bit, and did we know that did we confirm that was Al Lowe's wife? Is Al Lowe's wife? There's no real information on that. I'm sure it is. So yeah, the music, it is his wife. Okay, good. And Sammy, he runs like a jam session. Well, he used to. Oh, okay, good. He used to run a jam session out of his house in wherever he lives near Seattle, where you could go and like play big band music. It was like a reading band, which would be pretty cool. Which I want. That's one of my goals. If I haven't said it on these streams before, is to play music with Al Lowe. That would be awesome. Yeah. So but here's the thing, Deluxe Tux. So you're born with it to an extent, and I think the people who are really born with it end up like similar to myself, where we end up professional musicians or something else in music for the most part. Or you choose to not develop the skill. You know what I mean? So that's part of it. But you can develop like the ear training stuff. It is possible to learn. I mean, that they teach it in universities and schools and colleges, and I don't teach a lot of music theory typically myself, except in these streams. The school that I work with is mostly focused on songwriting and music production, because a lot of this stuff is pretty tedious and it's very time consuming to learn all of these, skills. Yeah, born with it, but 10,000 hours kind of thing. Yeah,
Hmm.
in a way you do need that time. Those magic eye stereograms, I can see them with no effort. I can't even see if I take my glasses off. I can't even see my hand in front of my face. So that's a good thing for you, Deluxe Tux. But yeah, it can be learned. It's just a hell of an effort. Like imagine learning to code, right? You're not going to do it by tomorrow. It's just not going to happen, right? It takes a long time. That's my next goal, is to finish my WISE certification, which is game audio integration middleware, which integrates game audio with Unreal Engine or Unity or in-house engines, and it's fantastic. And I've gotten them through a couple of the lessons. It's pretty heady stuff. It's very new for me, so it's going to take me a little time. Even me, that I have all this musical skill and I can't pick up a game audio thing like that. I still have a learning curve. So, you know, it does take effort. Anyway, now, interestingly enough, that chord actually sounds more like Quest for Glory 2 or Prince of Persia.
Yes, I was thinking that exact same thing.
It's kind of almost like a Middle Easternish a scale. So that's another thing. You can use scales to create. It's not really harmonic minor. It's a mode of harmonic minor if you're going to get really weirdly musically technical. Because it starts with a half step and then a minor third, which is really odd. And then a half step. So one day I'll release this on my YouTube channel, but there are videos that I've done that I did for my original piano class, which talks about half steps and whole steps and chords and things like that. This is all available on YouTube with people that had much better production than I did at the time and still probably do. It's really easy to learn the basics of it. So, you know, you can study it if you want, but this particular scale that I'm playing goes half step, minor third, half step, whole step, half step, whole step, and then half step, and then half step. And that's an 8-note, an octatonic scale, which is odd. Most of the scales we use are 7 notes. There's a major scale, B flat major, B flat minor would be natural minor. It gets really weird as you go into minor. That's why I like to use relative major and minors. Anyway, yeah, sounds exactly like the QFG2 harem scene. Yeah, and they did that. Conquests of Camelot also used some cool. They used some cool like Middle Eastern scales because there's parts of that game that took place in like Jerusalem and where else? I'm trying to remember all the places that took place, but it's pretty cool. So the scales you learned in piano as a kid are burned to your brain. Yeah. So the thing is, as a composer, you don't have to necessarily play them. You don't have to be able to play them. You just have to be able to think and hear them and then write them. Right? Because there's a lot of great composers for games that I don't think necessarily even play. Some do, like Austin Wintory, if you know Journey. That guy's an unbelievable piano player. But not all of them are, you know, rudimentary piano. Yep. Yeah, so you can't really... How did they do it? This is where the composing thing gets kind of amazing. And Margaret Lowe captured that little moment perfectly. It's kind of a cartoony looking game. It's kind of a cartoony looking death. You got zapped by, literally zapped by a wizard who just appeared out of thin air and zapped you into a pile of dust, and it said, oh, yeah, you died. Huh. There you go. Oh, there you go. Scott Joplin himself was notoriously not a great piano player. There you go. Yeah, you don't have to be. You just have to be able to think and hear the music. I don't know how Beethoven played. I don't know if he gave concerts or whatever. Certainly a hell of a composer, even though he couldn't hear.
Dan, are you sure you don't want your face to be on the screen right now? Because you're doing a lot of the talking and playing, and I'm just
I
like,
just don't know if I have one up. Do I?
No.
And game capture.
'Cause I'm just looking at the screen that I'm seeing on Twitch. I'm like, oh, it's just me. And I don't mind like reacting to your talking, but like you're talking and it's interesting, and not seeing your face.
Okay, so let's fix that. Let me add one of my cameras real quick. I don't have a face.
Yeah, Man Without a Face. That's a movie, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
I think so.
Do I have to be above this?
Because I think you should at least, you know, if
I'm
not
just
just
wondering
completely...
why we don't see me at all here. Is my camera off?
Dark Man. No, it's
No,
called.
I'm
I
there.
thought there was something. Wasn't there something called a Man Without a Face?
Oh, there's
also
Super Mario.
Man in the Iron Mask.
That's a different one.
Yes.
Let me try this. Let me try one other possibility here. Front view.
There you are.
Oh, there's
There
too
you are.
much
There's
of me.
Dan.
Let me
There's
go sit
Mario.
down here with
We've
you.
been watching.
Okay, I'm going to go sit down here with Julia in the corner
Yes.
and behave
Join me in the
myself.
corner.
Try
Yes,
to
thank
behave
you, Bill
myself.
Coon. Thank you.
Man in the mirror.
No, Man Without a Face. I never even saw the movie. I don't know. Just kind of. There we go.
It sounds like, kind of sounds like DuckTales for some reason. Watermelon Man in the mirror. Ooh, that would be tough to put those. Man Without a Face, is it Face Off? Nicolas Cage?
That's a good movie.
It is.
John Travolta.
Yeah, John
Dan
Travolta.
Cage. Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage. I want to
Really
take
good.
his face off. That was a
It's
weird
great.
premise, right?
Yes, of course.
How did they like change the voice? Like, I mean,
Just ADR. What do you mean?
let's say, okay, so let's say that you and I were completely changed. I wouldn't know anything about your life like that,
Right.
and you wouldn't know anything about mine. So when all of a sudden I'm in your house and I go upstairs and I just like I'm hanging out with your friends, and they're
Yeah.
like, oh hey, what do you want to do? I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. And I start like drinking a beer and making food. You're like, what the hell are you eating, dude? Like, what's going on? Julia, what's up with you? It's like, oh, you know, I'm just cool. Like, I'm good. Yeah. And I use words that you wouldn't use. You know what I mean?
I don't even think my friends would really it would really register with them probably.
You
I don't
don't think
know.
so? You don't think they pay that much attention?
No.
I think
I
they
don't.
do. I think they do, but we don't even know. The Crimson Diamond 2, Face Off. Yes. It sounds like I was playing Full House. That is a good theme song. What the hell's the name of that song? Everywhere You Look, Everywhere. I don't know what the name of it is. No, I was trying to play Man in the Mirror. I think I was just in the wrong key.
No. I think I don't know if you're in the right key or not. There we go.
You're welcome, Anna. Yeah, that's Michael Jackson, or well, whoever wrote that song. Family Matters. How does the Family Matters one go? Thriller? Yeah, Thriller's great. Are we taking requests now? see, see what happens when you show up, Rick. It just all hell breaks loose.
See whatever happened. That's what it was. Whatever happened to predictability?
Predictability.
Now,
The milkman,
no, but
the
seriously.
paperboy. Evening TV. You said it was.
What?
Somebody said that it was evening TV, and I always thought it was even TV,
I thought it was even TV as well.
but it's evening TV.
But whatever happened
evening,
to those
whatever.
theme songs? They don't do them anymore like that.
They don't want to pay, and they think that the consumer has zero attention span.
But we love those songs so much, you guys.
Yeah, but we're old. We're not the consuming public anymore.
Young
Apparently.
people like songs too. You still consume.
Well, yeah, but I'm old. I don't count as part of the equation. I'm not enough to be a number. You and I are not enough to be a number anymore.
But when we get to this age, we're supposed to consume like more than children, right?
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't
I don't know. Skip intro. TV. What?
Yeah, do we have any young folk in the chat
Not the
to
young
weigh
folk.
in
Yeah,
on this? Do you
Ian's
like
pretty.
this
Ian's
song?
pretty young. He's in his early 20s. Alfred, I think, left. He's in his early 20s.
They haven't had a chance to like good theme songs because they never got them. That's just how it is.
And I agree. I think in a way, yeah, I think that's probably Slat Studio points out Puppy Dog Pals has a rockin' theme song. I think that the best theme songs are from kids shows now, right? And maybe they
Really?
always were, but they certainly were. I don't know. Puppy Dog Pals. Legend says the M in MTV once stood for music. Yeah. What did they say recently? MTV celebrated an anniversary of they've now played more years of non-music TV than music
Oh.
TV. They used to play music videos. You remember that?
Yes, we had much music here. That was the Canadian one.
Rick said, what's the main demographic?" You know what? I don't even know. That's a whole nother conversation. That's an interesting conversation as a game developer too, right? Because you have to have a demographic for your game. If Julia went to pitch this to a studio or whatever, which I'm sure
Mhm.
there's not a lot of AAA studios buying EGA text parsers at the moment, but if they were, if this was 1989, she would still have to have a demographic to a degree, right? You'd have to say, well, who's going to buy this? Who are we
Yeah,
selling this to?
probably.
And I'm certain that the age of a person owning a computer has dropped drastically from where it was in 1989 because they were prohibitively expensive. Now you have a Raspberry Pi for $35,
Mm-hmm.
which can almost do, you know. Eden Wraith, you're now in your early 20s because I say so. Sure, yeah, why not? Kisai Tenchi's turning 40 this year. Yep, there you go. I forget my age on a routine basis. It changes too quickly to keep up. Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, I'm 31, I think. 41. Hey, listen, you don't have to. Age is just a number, as they say. But in the case of suits in accounting departments, which I'm sure you guys all know about, doesn't unless you have a job like Julia where you just simply work for yourself and don't answer to anybody. Um, Otherwise, yeah, you age is just a number. But those guys are trying to figure out where they're going to sell their product or service. In this
Mm-hmm.
case, the game. So who's buying the game? I miss MTV too. It's like desperate. They used to have all kinds of video channels. VH1 used to only play music videos too. VH1 used to have like a smooth jazz thing. They used to have live jam sessions. They used to have a show. I think it was called The Box or Video Box, and they played like the hip hop stuff. I don't know what happened to all that. And they still make music videos, which is weird. Who knows? What did Hunter say? Yeah, remember when you had to figure out computers? How do you so what did I can't read? Remember when you had to figure out computers to use them? Yes, you had to figure out how to use it. You had to type in stuff, right? So well, let's go back and let's start examining this again. So if we were to use the theme and take some kind of variation of the theme for our death music or our death ditty. Now here's what I like about emails like this one that I have printed out from Julia.
You
It's
printed your email out like an old person.
well, this one in particular because I didn't want to just keep referring to it and having to call it up,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want it in front of my face. But 5 to second. So I think I've talked about this briefly before, but this introduces limitations, the idea of limitations, right? And in my opinion, limitations when composing music are a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. I'm now
Yep.
101 years old. So we're basically taking a little, as little of a snapshot of a piece of music and condensing it into 5 to 7 seconds. Now, if you think about it, a TV commercial, an average TV commercial is around 30 seconds. So if I was to do like TV theme music, or not theme music, TV jingle, that'd be about 30 seconds. So that is what? 7 times as long as the length of this little ditty?
I've got a fun TV jingle story.
Please.
You know that I'm stuck on Band-Aid song? I'm stuck on Band-Aid because Band-Aid stuck on me.
No, but I like it.
Do you know who composed that? Do you know
No,
that jingle?
no, I don't know that
I
one.
am stuck on Band-Aid because Band-Aid stuck on me.
No, but I like it.
No? Well, okay, Sammy knows it. Does anyone know who composed that?
See, don't you remember I told you I was going to get you to sing live on stream?
Yeah, right.
I'm
Not
pretty
doing
sure you
it.
just did.
Not Here's what I think
Awesome.
I said it on my art stream that this mic is too good for me to do that with.
Well, maybe that's the reason you're supposed to do it, because it's so good.
No, it gives you every nuance of the voice that we don't need to hear. Okay, and this guy actually this musician performing recording artist and everything he's done other jingles too, but that's the only one I can remember that he's done for sure. Barry Manilow.
Barry Manilow, yeah, interesting. Barry
Yep.
Manilow is a very, in my opinion, very underrated musician. He composed a lot of stuff. So John Tesh. Well, John Tesh did the it's the NBA on NBC, I think, theme. Yeah. Hip
Oh, nice.
hero protagonist. Yes, nice. The NBA on MDC, and there's actually a great video, or it's at least audio of him talking about how he did it. He called his voicemail back when you had to do this. He called his own voicemail and sang the theme into his voicemail tape, because they were little micro cassette tapes,
Yeah.
and he sang it in there, and he has that audio. He played it of him singing the theme to the NBA on NBC. And I hate to get sidetracked again, but I actually composed a theme for a sports league as well, and they use it still.
Seriously.
Hmm. Yeah, that was John Tesh's show. Was Entertainment Tonight. My gig was I was hired by an attorney who was also a musician, and a friend of mine who's a guitar player, and we needed to write the music for the Flag Football League, the American Flag Football League. I think it's the
For
AFF.
real?
Yes, you can see it. Should we try to find it and share it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
This was supposed to be a productive work stream.
Boy, were you wrong about that.
Boy, was I wrong.
Let's see. I don't know if they're still in business at this point, but let's see.
Traditions change and evolve.
I think this is it. Let's switch the OBS up here to. There we go. Whoops.
And just going back to Barry Manilow really briefly, yeah, my mom loved his music and stuff. So
Oh, of
growing up, I
course.
heard a lot of Barry Manilow.
Did
Very
she
good
love
stuff.
Michael Bolton also?
No.
Oh, interesting.
In
But
look
Michael
and
Bolton
feel,
came later, didn't he?
He did.
In
A lot
form.
later.
and in familiarity. One of the most
This is
enduring
the
and entertaining
first
traditions
first
was
game.
born
So
in
this
the
is not what I
backyard.
wrote. This is score music. I didn't
Football.
do this.
Today we witness a pastime
it's-
innovatively reimagined.
Here somewhere.
The energy of a surging American youth sport.
Blah blah blah. There we go. There it is.
And it's all about the flag. And
There it is.
Ochocinco yapping it up a little bit. But some of the
Kind of cool, right?
Oh my God! Look at those flags.
And if you know football, there's some big names. That was Michael Vick, Ocho Cinco. Those were huge stars in the NFL. Are they now?
I-
No, but that was it.
they play flag football now.
Well, they did. This was a couple of years back. I don't know if that's still happening, this league. I mean, obviously, right now, everything is a little screwed up. Whoops. Oh, come on, OBS. Do your thing. Let's see. I'm
Don't
trying
let
to
us
get
down.
both of us on. There we go. Yeah, that's the theme to the American Flag Football League. and that was composed by myself, Jeffrey. What's his last name?
Smith.
Jeffrey It starts with an M. I'd have to remember. And C. Lansbaum. C. Lansbaum and I worked together for many years, guitar player, and he was the one who put me in touch because it was an attorney friend of his, and we went and composed it up at his place in New York, upstate New York, and that was it. And I don't even know if I ever saw the announcement or whatever when it came out. I just found it on YouTube one day, not even realizing that they had kind of redone it or whatever. But it's pretty cool, and it'll be a nice thing for the demo reel.
Yes.
So again, but there's another example of a theme. It was short, but it was still significantly longer than 5 to 7 seconds. So you guys will now be able to see the complete difficulty of composing something that works perfectly in 7 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever. So the Crimson Diamond theme is roughly that, and then the B section goes. So that's roughly it. So how would we do that? Because it's already in a minor key. The B section, though, is in a major key. Or, well, kind of, it's not a major key, but it transitions to the relative major. So. Right, so the key of the song, the original key, is E minor, but the B section, or whatever you want to call it, goes to G major, which is the relative major of E minor, if you know this stuff. The first chord is C, but that's the 4 chord of the G. So we could go there. So time this. Put a little thing on your phone. A little
Okay, give me a sec.
a little stopwatch. You have one of those?
Yes, I do. Stopwatch.
Okay. So time as soon as I start playing, and then stop when I stop playing. Hopefully you'll be able to do that.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Stop here. How long was that?
9.78 seconds.
That's an abridged, abbreviated opening, and it's already almost double as long as it needs to be. So I did 4 changes there, 4 chord changes there. So I have half that amount of time. So I have like 0 time. Oh my God, I have the melody in my head for the death theme. How can I hum it to you for serious? Well, just send it to us. Why not?
Email, whatever.
Yeah, you can email it to Julia. What's the Crimson Diamond email? We might as well plug them.
Yeah, sure. It's right on the website. The top of the website is just like julia@thecrimsondiamond.com. If you go to the website, it's totally right front and center.
Yeah, and feel free to put record as a voice memo on your phone. You could do that.
Yeah.
Record it. Call your message machine.
Call your answering machine.
Call your answering machine with what's the name? With your micro cassette, and send in the mail Julia the micro cassette, so she can play it back on the micro cassette that she doesn't own.
In 3 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, in 3 weeks you'll hear what it sounds like. Oh, how does it sound? I don't know. You'll hear it in 3 weeks. Well, back then you used to actually have to play music over the phone. Do you think about the crazy technology we're using right now? You're in Canada. I'm in New York. You're in specifically Toronto. I'm in New York. We're using 3 computers right now? And everybody out there is using some kind of computer or whatever, and they're watching us live with like a couple of second delay. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. I know. It's ridiculous.
And we're in our homes. We're not in a TV studio or whatever. It's crazy. So, yeah. The tiny, tiny videotapes in Laser Suit Larry 5. And here's the other problem. I can't play too much stuff. Let's see. DGDW says, how far off the final release of the Crimson Diamond B? Been watching with anticipation. Well, thank you for watching.
Yes,
And
thank
how
you.
far off? Just far enough to not really have a specific date other than when it is ready. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Julia, can you say what you were working on this past week? Like,
Yeah.
give a little.
Yeah, I was actually going to do a development update on my pre-stream stream, but I totally forgot to.
Not when
But,
Star Citizen releases. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm working on section 2 of chapter 4 right now. So I kind of subdivide each chapter. So this chapter is 3 subsections. So I'm working on the second subsection of chapter 4 of 7 chapters. And the first chapter is the demo that you can download and play off of Steam right now. So however long it takes you to play the first chapter, kind of multiply it by 7 to get kind of a ballpark idea of how long the game will take you to play. You know, because people do vary in terms of how thorough some people are. Some people want to ask every single question possible, which is clearly going to make it longer.
Well, who was it that was supposed to play the game real quick? It was one of the streamers, and she played for like hours. Was it Dr. Mikachu?
No, it was Ask Alice.
Oh, Ask Alice.
Yeah, she said, okay, we're gonna play
hilarious.
a little bit of this demo, then we're gonna go back to our regularly scheduled game. 3 hours later, she hadn't even got to dinner, I don't think. So,
And it's a 3-hour demo, and you expect people to spend about how long on the demo?
Like 1 hour, 2 hours. Probably.
So 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And she was on it for 3 and hadn't even finished the dinner. And the dinner's not even the end. The dinner is like part way through. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, she said she was savoring it, and I appreciate that.
And it's cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Well, I remember watching you play it with Skippy Granola?
Yes.
Did you also do a play with Matt Barton, Matt Chat?
He was playing through it. Yeah, and he was kind of asking me questions while he was playing through it. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy Matt Chat's.
Oh, he's great.
He's a really good interviewer. He's actually a school teacher too, I believe.
Yes, English teacher.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, exactly. Look at this. Open all the cabinets. Open all the doors and cabinets, and pick up every blue cup you can find.
Yep. And there is one in the game, and you do use it. So.
It's in the demo.
Yes.
Yeah. So, that's an interesting.
So you have 7 hot seconds to do something magical.
That kind of sounds like something that should be like approaching one of the death scenes in the demo. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's like there should be like some kind of riff that's like,
yes, I love it.
We're approaching it. Ah, Furrow, you got it.
Yeah. It sounds like the Metal Gear Solid kind of.
Kind of. Well, that's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever it is. So you could do a lot of different things. I'm trying to think. The discovery music for the Diamond. Yeah, that was just a real quick thing we found. We'll work on it today. Oh, Grundislav was live today. He was with us last night. It was funny. He jumped in last night on our test stream, and we entertained him for a while. So that's not good. So, interestingly enough, Slat Studio been gone for the last 30 minutes. No, not even close. So the idea for the theme for me had 2 sixths, the interval of a sixth. In the case of the opening, it's a minor sixth, and then there's a major sixth later for the part that goes to major. feel like that may need to be incorporated into the death theme. Bye, Roberta. Thank you for being here.
Yes,
Thank
good
you
night.
for coming,
Thanks
and
for dropping
congrats
by.
on your move to
Yes.
the great state of Washington. So let's see.
See, I almost like that last bit. It kind of reminds me of the King's Quest 3 ending part where it kind of goes up, where we go bum ba 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 ba. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, something like that.
Interesting that you just pointed that out. Maybe that's the point noise, or some signal that
Maybe.
you've done something cool.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Okay, so Retro Rents Al has emailed me his idea. Now, Retro Rents Al, may I play this? Debut it
well,
on
let's
the stream?
play it, but let's wait until I'm finished with this because I don't want to. I don't want to steal influence without doing it first. But I do want to hear it. Let's see. That's kind of cool.
Yes. Yes, great.
I think we might have got it. Let's record this. So, Pro Tools is the software that I'm using if you don't know, and it's got a pretty cool function that lets me tap tempo. So I can just kind of go click, click, how fast is it? And then it'll tell me. That might be even a hair fast. It says it's 92. Let's see. Don't have a click track. Let me get myself a click track. And why did I ignore the click? Because I want it to slow down and it's just going to be tough. Let's hear how that sounds. (986 BPM) should be good. Does anybody know what BPM stands for, by the way?
Beats per minute.
Yes. That's
I know
very
that
good.
one.
Very good. And interestingly enough, I was having this discussion with some of the teachers at the school, and we were talking about definition of terms. BPM, beats per minute. That's it. How many beats per minute? Let's see. Well, how do I phrase this question? What does beats per minute refer to in music? What is it giving you? What is it telling you? What does that information tell you?
For one of your students to chime in.
Hopefully Ian's still here. Yep, tempo. Deluxe Tux got it. The tempo. Yes, and the Davor, that's correct. How many beats there are per minute. So, if you look at like a second hand on a clock that ticks or a watch that ticks, you'll have 60 seconds in a minute, which would equate to 60 beats per minute. So if you doubled that speed, you'd get 120 beats per minute. 60 beats per minute is pretty slow for music, for most music, especially stuff if you listen to the radio. Most stuff is not that slow. Dance tempo would be like 126 to 132, 128 kind of being what was the ideal dance tempo. If you listen to a lot of top 40 radio like me, the radio songs have actually slowed down in tempo. They're in the lower 120s now, but I don't know. I haven't done studies to see if like the certain BPM is supposed to work with your biorhythms or something like that. Who knows? I don't know all that stuff. But let's see. 60 BPM would be like one whole note per second. Well, it would actually be like one quarter note per second. So I guess it depends on your time signature as well. But 60 BPM in 4/4 time, which is what we're at 92 BPM in 4/4 time. 4/4 time simply means that the top four, or first four in this case, means that we have 4 beats, and the bottom 4 is saying that it's a quarter note is equal to 1 beat. So per measure. So we have 1 measure equals 4 quarter notes. If we were in 6/8 time, we'd have 6 beats, and the 8th note would get 1 beat, right? We could still be, 6/8 times sounds a little bit different. 3/4 times sounds a little bit different. It sounds like a waltz. So 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or if you're counting in halftime, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever. So that our theme song is in 4/4 time. If you play through the demo and you go to the dinner, there's a waltz which is in 3/4 time. Right? Yeah. So, Blah Holton, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. He likes setting his tempo to 256 but treating it like 128. Yeah, that's cool because you can get more subdivisions in a DAW, but it really only matters if you're using a DAW like Pro Tools or Logic or Ableton Live or Cakewalk or any of these various things. So 8-Bit Music Theory had a really cool video on strange music time signatures. Yeah, so there would be a strange time signature. The problem is if you're trying to get a person to get into like a groove, odd time signatures are tougher to do that. You have to use rhythms. So like the famous 5/4 song is probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I can't count and do this at the same time. That's called take 5. How does the bridge go? Da, 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 da. Anyway, I'm playing it terribly, but that's a 5/4. That would be 5/4 time. Yes, and you can use 5/4 time and 7/4 time and 13/8 time to make people feel not necessarily always uneasy, but different. If you listen to like progressive rock music, that's kind of famous for changing time signatures quite a bit, like Rush or Emerson, Lake and Palmer, or especially Dream Theater. Yeah, so the Deluxe Tux said, just looked up 160 BPM and it feels feverishly high. So yes, it could, unless the music was being felt in halftime, or if it was 6/8. 6/8 at 160 doesn't really sound that crazy. But if they're just referring to like the average like drum and bass might be at 160, that would be a faster kind of feeling thing. Anyway, that's a tangent on time signatures. If you really want more of this knowledge, there's plenty to learn, certainly. Drum and bass. Ah. Here we go. I think that works. I mean, I think it needs a little bit of dressing, but I think that's it. Like, you could do some cool, let's do some dressing. Let's do this. We're going to set our MIDI channel here to 4. And let's go back quickly. Yeah, Hidden Valley Ranch it up. Let's go back to our MT32 and let's look at some sounds. Oboe says nice and melancholic. Is that a word?
Mm-hmm.
Is melancholic a word? Is it?
Melancholic?
Melancholic, yeah.
Yeah. Melancholy.
Melancholy
like
is a
Smashing
word,
Pumpkins.
certainly, but isn't...
Melancholy in the infinite whatever, right?
But yeah, but
melancholic.
Melancholic, is that legit? Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Oboe says nice and melancholic. Well, that's kind of what we're going for.
Perfect.
So 85 would be cool. Let me put that in quickly. You won't see it, but let me do it.
Some of these descriptions are not the most helpful.
How about all
but
of
I'm
them?
glad nice. Okay.
That's pretty cool. And then I was also hoping to get like a little bell kind of sound to layer it with. More toy-like. 99. Sin mallet. Well, we're in this range here, 98 to 102, or even to 105. So this is
I like a marimba.
This is 98. That's not really what I want.
No.
That's better. That's kind of cute. That's not going to work.
Ooh.
That's pretty cool. Let's try.
Ooh.
Keep going though. That's not going to work. That's a little too not going to work.
I don't mind that, but yeah.
That's pretty cool. You like this one?
Yeah, I do actually.
That's a xylophone. This
Kind
is
of mischievous.
This is marimba.
I also like that.
I do too. This is koto again.
Oh, sure.
I don't know if that's going to work in that section. I think that's all the options we have. See, this is the limitations also of the, not only the time we have, but the software, the hardware that we're using to compose. Let's try 23. I don't know.
It's a bit too much.
Yeah. That's not bad either, but it's not great. I think I liked the xylophone and you liked the marimba, so let's try one of those two.
I did like the xylophone too a lot. La Holton's thinking harpsichord.
Harpsichord, we could try because that's in the intro of the song. I'm using harpsichord. We got 17 through 19. Let's try that. Sorry, Julia, I can't see the chat at all right now, so you're on chat duty.
Gotcha. Deluxe Tux is interested in the whistle with the Western description.
The which one?
The whistle with the Western
The
description.
whistle? Let's find that.
Whistle?
Oh, it's probably supposed to be like a Clint Eastwood thing. Spaghetti Western? Or subtle whistling patch. Subtle?
Kisai Tenchi said a lot of the instruments remind her Kisai of Ultima 7's music.
Ultima 7, nice. That's not bad. That's not great. Those two suck. So 17 is okay. I don't think harpsichord would normally be a bad choice. I just think you're so limited in the way this particular thing sounds. The MT32. Let's go back to this. What's the Spaghetti Western? 109. Oh, you know what that is. It actually, no, it's... It's the... Space Quest 3.
Sammy Bucket says X-Files.
Oh. Yeah. I like that too. That's a really cool sound.
It is.
Let's try that one too. I don't know. So we got...
It's probably too spooky, but,
Yeah, but if we layer it, we might be able to sneak it in there. And then the game designer won't notice.
Right.
Let's try this. Let's see what happens.
Sammy wants to know if you can load 2 patches at once.
Yes, but play them. You mean play them at the same time? You can. Let's see. So that's the whistle and the. Let's just play the little theme here. Let me skip you guys back so you can see what the hell we're doing. Is this it? Yes. Okay. Something like that. You got the same headphones? I just got these a couple of weeks ago. These are the Bayer Dynamic DT990 Pros. Theremin and throat singing. Whoa. So, and there's something that I find intriguing about it. Interesting. Yeah, these are fantastic headphones for mixing. James Hendrix and his usage of electrified guitar. So that's so interesting that one game or property can own a musical instrument in the memory of minds. Yeah, totally. I'm just glad that they can't own the IP to an instrument itself. Like you can't, you may not be able to, if you copyright and build and manufacture an instrument, you can, copyright the manufacturing process or whatever, but you can't copyright the sound that people create with it or the music that people create with it. That's their property. Let's see. So what you could do too is you could change the sound of this. So watch this. That totally changes the feel of it, right?
Yeah, it's kind of great, actually.
Now we should be in a cave.
Or the bathroom.
Or that. Now that's a little too subtle. But then watch this. Oops. And what I think we could do here. What I'm doing now is a very, 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 very basic version of orchestrating or orchestration. So what I should do is label my tracks too. That's like a violin, I think. This is a bell or xylophone. I think it's actually a marimba. And then this is a whistle. So now that they're labeled, that's good, except in Pro Tools they often forget the patch that you're on, so what I need to do is tell this. Oh, see, it already forgot it. That was violin. So now I gotta go look the damn thing up. This is why this is such a pain in the butt. It's just because it's old software. 53, I think it is. Oh no, this is the whistle patch. So this is 109.
Take bio break. Be right back.
No problemo.
All right. This is all gonna be done when I come back, right?
Well, technically it is already done. We just have to like decide how it's going to be orchestrated.
Oh well, yeah. Okay. Well, that's technically done, I guess.
You know, that's how I
Sweet.
think of it as finished.
Okay. My game's finished too.
Nice. So let's see. I was trying to learn anything close. Two people throat singing is harmonics, using harmonics of the voice, right? So you can get more than one note going at the same time, because people are only supposed to be able to sing one note at a time. Almost never label your stuff. Same. Oh man, if you don't label your stuff in music in this, you just get killed. Especially if you're giving this to somebody else to mix. Like if I was giving this, when this is all finished and all the audio files are there, and I was giving this to somebody to mix and it wasn't labeled, an engineer would want to kill me. I mean, with 5 tracks, it's fine. But when you have 50 to 100 to more, it's insane. My buddy Will Roger, who jumps on with us every once in a while, and if you guys don't know about him, you should. He's also a streamer. And his handle is Bustatunes, I think. Let me type this in here. Pretty sure this is his. He's the composer for Mortal Kombat 11 and Call of Duty World War II. He also did the Monkey Island remake for LucasArts. He's just a fantastic dude and phenomenal talent, and he said he uses templates that are 500 tracks. So if you had a track that was 500, like, you have to be labeled properly, otherwise people are going to want to kill you. Yeah, the remake. Will did the music. He helped port the MT32 music. The first time I met him on a Zoom meetup, he pulls the MT32 out of his studio. He's like, "Yeah, this thing." I'm like, "Yeah, man, that's what I'm working on this other game with right now." And they all thought it was pretty cool that I was having to struggle with DOSBox and things like that. Can you recommend an indie game with great music I can check out? Yes, Anna, I'm glad you asked. Empire of Sin will be coming out this fall by Romero Games and Paradox Interactive. I'm not sure if it's how indie it is, but it's indie-ish. Well, I could plug the Crimson Diamond, but I figured Anna's fairly aware of it. But yeah, Empire of Sin will have music composed by myself and another composer. I did about, so far, I think I've done almost an hour worth of music, maybe more in the game, but there's a lot. There's a lot in the game. So yeah, Empire of Sin is a game by Brenda Romero, and it is basically takes place in 1920s Prohibition Chicago, and it's a combination of a lot of stuff. There's XCOM style combat, which is like turn-based strategy combat, but there's also SimCity city building elements in it. There's Civilization style elements in it, and Brenda is a master of all that stuff. We plugged Lamplight City and Mage's Initiation. Yep, love those two also. You know, I think music, one of my favorites is Shardlight. Shardlight is a Grundislav game. It's a Wadjet Eye game, but it's by Francisco Gonzalez and Ben Chandler, I believe. If you don't know or if you haven't played Shardlight yet, I love that one. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, so Shardlight is a good one. What else? I got to look through my Steam at one point. I mean, I loved Unavowed. You probably played that already. I'll play the music. Oh, FTL. Yeah, that's fantastic. FTL has phenomenal music. And subsequently, they did another game, follow-up game. It wasn't really FTL. It's by the same guys, called Into the Breach. I thought the game was fun, but I thought the music just didn't, for me anyway, it didn't give me the same feelings as FTL. FTL music is unbelievable. Dead Cells, is that an indie game? I guess it is. Well, and then Undertale, sort of an indie game, and it was a solo develop, right? A solo dev effort. Celeste was also a small team. I don't know the music. Dark Side Detective, there's another good one. What are some other good ones? Let's think of more. I like this team effort. I'm hoping I'll hear some games that I don't know of. Transistor, I'm not familiar with that one. Dark Side is on my list too. What's the one with the dog? Is it a dog or like there's like animals that are detectives? That was shown at Adventure X last year. One of the games that was shown with Julia, and I think, no, not Bastion. Bastion is something different. Are you guys thinking of? Are you thinking of Virtuaverse? Virtuaverse is another one. I haven't played Virtuaverse yet, but I've heard good things. My buddy Amiga Bill, if you watch his streams, he did a stream of Virtuaverse a few weeks ago. And Amiga Bill's another guy you should check out. He streams mostly on Sunday, usually at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And he's doing a bunch of stuff this week, so check him out on his Twitch channel. It's just Amiga Bill, twitch.tv/Amiga Bill. He's awesome. He's a really talented dude and a really nice guy. Nice dude. Winklebottom? No, it's not. Is it Winklebottom? Anna, I assume you've already played Kathy Rain. I'm gonna look it up. Adventure X.
Is it done yet?
Did Julia show up again? Well, you know what? Anna asked us a good question. She wanted to get Kathy Rain's awesome. Some examples of indie games with great music. So I was trying to remember the game that was shown. I don't know if it has great music, but it looks like a cool game that was shown at Adventure X last year. It was one of the games shown with you, with your game last year.
Okay.
Let's see, Backbone. Is it Backbone?
Yeah.
Maybe it's Backbone.
Backbone was there, yeah.
Backbone was there. What was the other one? Inspector Waffles I didn't see.
Yep, that was there too.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the website now. There was some cool stuff. There was a couple of cool, like really different ideas. I think Backbone was the one that I thought looked really, really cool.
It looks gorgeous,
Does it? Yeah, in person. So yeah, those are pretty cool. I think somebody named it. Somebody said Backbone already. So does Backbone. Yeah, Deluxe Tux got it. So what's the one? Subconscious stars a female lead detective.
I don't know that one.
I don't know that one. Do I know that one? I feel like I do know it.
Do you want to hear this little hum?
Oh, from Retro and Sal? Yes, I do, because I think we got the idea.
Okay, let's see if I can play this on the phone. Which side's the speaker on the iPhone?
Usually the bottom.
Okay.
Cognition, yes. That's
It's
not bad.
Yeah,
not
it's
bad.
pretty good.
Cognition is a Phoenix Online game, right? I played a little bit of it. Is that the Erica Reed thriller? I believe it is. Erica Reed's thriller story? What's it called? Something like that. I played a little bit of Cognition. Again? No, I played a little bit of Cognition. There's 5 of them. Okay. Yeah, and she has this like ability that you kind of like. You have like this cognition ability. Yeah, the graveyard. That's cool. I like it. I just don't know if we can use it in this context. Let's see. And I'll tell you why I would err on the side of using the one we wrote before. Because it kind of harkens back to the theme of the song, of the game's original theme. So it kind of gives us that bit. But that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, Whispers of a Machine.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that was cool, dude. Send more stuff like that.
Yeah, we love it.
The other thing is, I think yours was long, but I could be wrong. I think the theme was long, but it could probably work. How long is this one now? Let's see. This is
hold
about
on.
5 seconds.
Oh, you got it. Yeah.
Well, there's a timer up here. There's this timeline. You can't really see it well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the marimba version. This is the violin version. That's not the violin version. I lied. The hell? See, this is why you have to write down all these stupid sounds. Because Pro Tools sucks with MT32 and MIDI. What the hell is going on here, pal? You're supposed to listen to me. Oh God, no. It's not Space Quest. Where is it? Violin. 53 or 54. And I actually have to still be off by a number. Oh, stupid. So if we do it like this. Now listen to this. What do you think of this? And we can even move this.
I like the violin quite a bit. It's folksy, but it's also like classic and, you know.
And there we're right about 5-6 seconds in that neighborhood.
Boom.
What if it went up and down? Da, 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 da. Yeah, you could certainly do variations on it. My main goal was to just make sure we got the original theme. And then once we get this, which we have now, thank God, we can do a million variants if we need it and with relative ease. So violin and marimba, yeah. And it's kind of silly, right? But it's not silly. But it is. But it's not.
Yes, exactly.
I think Bill described it perfectly. It's kind of somber than silly, but it's neither one of those things exclusively. It's a little bit of both, which is kind of funny. Okay, so let's see what happens if we just do all of them. You can't really hear that. Interesting. And what you can do is you can reorchestrate this a million different ways. Yes, drive safe, Anna,
yes,
please.
Yes, drive safe.
And hang out. Just throw us on your Bluetooth or whatever. I do that all the time. Most of my YouTube videos I don't see. I either listen to them while I'm walking or while I'm driving. And right now I'm doing like zero driving, so mostly walking. But I don't listen. I don't watch it. I just have it in my pocket. It's on YouTube. I'm listening to like Jay's 2 cents talk about computers, or I'm listening to some tutorial on music or whatever. Always trying to study. Yeah, it needs more brass. You could, but if you did that, it would change the sound of it, whatever. Yeah, I haven't bought any gas since March, like a couple of times. Yeah, so then the way you change the orchestration will give it kind of different sounds, and the way you choose instruments. Like the marimba kind of sounds outdoorsy, usually to people. Could be like
Mhm.
jungle, could be like cave, could be like forest. The violin could sound, what's the best way to put it? It could sound, I don't know, regal. The trumpets could certainly sound regal, but they can also sound a little bit heavy and not heavy, like very
Militaristic.
upfront, militaristic, but also brash, I guess.
Mhm.
You know, like aggressive. The brass thing was a
Bombast.
joke.
Yeah.
Bombastic. There's a good word. Yep. So it could sound like any of those things. So basically, that's another part of the equation, right? So violin and piano have the greatest range of well, if you're talking about legit instruments, sure. On the MT32, God knows what. So vain, yeah. So that's funny that we mentioned that because I watched your stream the last couple of times when you were on doing your art streams, Julie. By the way, let's put up a little bit, if we don't mind. Let's put up an ad for the art stream. Next week at 8 p.m., Making the Crimson Diamond Live continues with Painting Pixels with Julia, promptly at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Come enjoy the lovely pixel painting with Julia, Making the Crimson Diamond Live. Thank you. But where can you find it? twitch.tv/A_Maple Mystery. That's twitch.tv/A_Maple Mystery. Yeah, there we go. That's good. I think that'll work.
Sweet.
Uh-oh, how do I get us back? That's it.
Man.
Stream over. No, just kidding.
No.
I'm going to be late to next week's stream. Oh no, no excuses. Duck with shades, excellent. Yes. My Francisco said, what did he say? He said something about PR or something. He wanted me to do his voiceover so I could do his like
Yes.
and what is it? PBS/NPR voice. What was that show on NPR they had that was like I forget what the name of it was. Whatever. It's kind of like my Bob Ross voice, I suppose. Abrasive Hunter 1043. Yes, that's a good word for that too. So
trumpet, yeah.
Yeah, it's totally. So we have a little bit of a death theme, which is awesome. And the way we can shoot, we can also dress this up a lot if we really want to. We could that's literally 4 notes: G, F sharp, E, D sharp or E flat, depending on how you want to say it, and then E again. Right? So you could dress this up. You could go. Well, it might be cool to do it in 6ths like that.
Or in like the Colonel's Bequest, at the end of that death music, it kind of goes, you know, kind of at the end.
Oh, so I know what you're saying. You're saying, or something like that.
Yeah.
Same vibe, right? They changed octaves, which was really cool. CB also has a lot of Colonel's Bequest also has a lot of pre-themes to the death theme. Some of that linked to the music. Yes. So we were just talking about that a little before the Davor with like the shower. Sorry, I didn't say that, did I? With the death scene that happens in the demo. If you haven't played the demo. So we could do some kind of like you can't fall off the banister in Crimson Diamond, I don't believe.
No, there's no banister.
Yeah.
Oh, there is. Well,
there is. There's no way to fall off. Oh, from the not in the demo anyway. Certainly.
No.
You said there's 2 deaths in the demo, right? Yeah. You have not died in the demo yet? Oh, well, what are you waiting for, Duck with Shades? Reminds you of Wendy Carlos. Well, Wendy Carlos is fantastic. Unbelievable. What was the What's the soundtrack that Wendy Carlos did that I'm trying to think of? Oh, it was The Shining. The Shining. Tron. There you go. There's some pretty amazing ones right there. But what was I thinking of? I was probably thinking of The Shining. Ready Player One. Clockwork Orange. That's the one I'm thinking of. What? Like just a ton of stuff. Clockwork Orange was the first one. The Shining. I don't know a lot of these other ones. Tron 2.0, the video game. Writer, interesting. Performer, title music from, okay. That's just a Clockwork Orange. And then Ready Player One, she did the main theme. I don't really know if I know that one, but that's pretty cool still. So yeah, we could do like what Julia said, this little blip at the end if you wanted to. Hit protagonist switched on Bach is what you're thinking of. She basically did this remake of like Bach music, but using all synthesizers. And in the 1970s, that was a big deal, like, because it was like you had to literally plug things from one place to another to get a sound to route this way. Now it's just all done by like a couple of clicks on a mouse or whatever. Oh yeah, Vangelis. Vangelis is unbelievable. One day I'll show some of his stuff. It's literally unbelievable. So yes, the leading up to the Bannister, the Davor. So we didn't actually talk about pre-themed pre-death music, right? Because there's a lot of that too. Like, and I think that, how would you describe that, Julia? You're the designer. How would you describe pre-death music? Like, you're going to die, you might die, you could die, you have to die. I don't know.
That's a tough one, because I think with the Bannister, it's kind of, you've already sealed your deal, like sealed your fate, and then then the music happens, and then you die, and then that death music happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if you hear that pre-death music, the pre-death music, if you can like get yourself not dead. I don't know. I think it's just.
Well, let's ask you ask you the same question in a different way. Non-adventure games. How about like another type of game?
Oh, sure. I mean, well, let's say you're on your last life, or you're running out of time in Mario, or
running out of time in Mario is a good one because it's just
it
basically
just
speeds it up. Yep.
Yep.
And what about like you're playing Zelda, the first Zelda game, or any of the Zelda games, and you got half a heart left of life. You hear that really annoying or whatever it is. It's like you can't even barely play the damn game. You're like, all right, I need a heart because I can't hear this stupid thing anymore. This is going to kill me. I think they made that.
KQ6, there's an eerie warning music if you wade into the water, so you. So
it's kind of it's kind of giving you a warning.
Yeah.
Saying, you sure you want to do that? You sure you want to do that?
I'm not going to stop you, but you know.
Well, Nancy, there's a warning with Nancy, right? Every once in a while. Like.
Yep.
Not in all the deaths in the demo, but at least in one of them, there's like a warning, like, hey, you sure you want to keep doing this?
Yes.
So in theory, we could add a little sound, a cue that gave the player some idea that, like, you know, you sure you want to do this? Like. Or whatever, you know, whatever kind of little thing you want to write. You sure you want to keep doing this? Yeah. Okay. All right. Fine. Hey, do it. Let's say Skies of Arcadia does this really cool thing where all the boss themes have a normal version, dire version for 1+ downed allies, and a triumphant version for boss HP at 1/3 or something. Yeah. There's a lot of cues. A lot of cues. In QFCG, you have the pre-combat music. Do you have that? Oh, you mean you do. You have that little riff, and then it's into the combat. So it's kind of like giving you the warning because it changes the screen, and then you're in the combat arcade sequence. Okay. Which
hostile intent is evident.
Hostile. Well, that's the first. You don't have to press enter, or click if you're using the mouse version. But you hit the guy. You run into each other. And then it says, hostile intent is evident, prepare for battle, or whatever. You can wait. And then as soon as you hit enter, it'll change to the next screen. It'll go, da 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 da. Mark Siebert, my guy. and it'll do that, and that's really cool. So yeah, that's cool. I mean, you think about how much, and if you think about God, like some of the modern AAA stuff, the amount of response you can build into software. You know, maybe when I finish learning Wise, I'll show some of the demo of it because
Yeah.
it's like, holy cow, it's unbelievable. It's the power that you have. And the initial demo, if you, Wise, by the way, all this stuff is free. If you want your certification, you have to pay for the test, but you don't have to pay to do the course material. It's free on their website. And the software is free. And the demo of the first assignment is you put sounds in this game called Cube, which is some kind of Quake clone. So your first job is to put a shotgun sound in the game and get it to, when the game calls for that sound, to get it to respond to it. Which would be cool if it integrated with AGS, because I would use Wise and make you just send me the game call stuff or whatever, and you would have to do a lot less work. And I would control all the audio. But AGS sadly does not integrate with any middleware. It's not that, at least not yet. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it'll put it in.
Who knows?
You never know. But you're using a different version, right, of the software?
I'm using an old version,
Yeah.
3.3.5.
Yeah, so that's not going to be in there. So I don't know, but anyway, I think for today we've got the little clip that we need. We could keep orchestrating it and keep going nuts ad nauseum. The question is then, we would want to cater each one of these to different death sections in the game, and for now we're only able to really show 2 or 3 of them. So that sadly might actually have to be some privileged information. As much as we share on this stream, it might be slightly privileged to show all the ways you can die, because I'm sure you can die more than just those 3 ways in the game.
Well,
As
there
the game
will be,
goes
yeah.
on, yeah, there's more ways. So this might not be the right crowd, but OG Game Boy Pokemon had a lot of pre-battle battle music. Yeah, actually somebody else said that earlier in the stream. Seems like Darkest Dungeon had some stuff like this, and FTL blends all its themes into battle versions if a fight breaks out.
That's cool.
Yeah, the FTL soundtrack is awesome. It just really was different from anything that was out there, and I think that's why it worked so well. Have you played that one?
I have.
Super
Yeah, actually,
addictive.
it's funny because it's fairly recent, and I have played it, or
Oh,
seen
really?
playthroughs. Yeah.
I was playing that game on my laptop all over the damn world. I was on tour and I discovered it. I downloaded it on Steam. I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I literally have remembering myself playing it in Jamaica for sure. I'm trying to remember all the dang countries it was in. But I played it all over the dang world because I was on tour for whatever. Just playing and playing and playing. Yep, my go-to laptop game. It's still heated up my laptop. Even, I don't know, my laptop's
Really?
too old. Yeah, 2012.
Mm,
My desktop is way more impressive.
right.
But sadly, you need a lot of computer power when you use a lot of these plugins, which I was using, and sounds, which I was using for Empire of Sin. Thankfully, the MT32 being invented in 1987 requires almost nothing. So, and Adventure Game Studio doesn't require a lot of computer power, nor do the games made with it, right? Like even Unavowed, I'm sure the system requirements are quite low.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need an RTX anything. You probably don't even need a GTX anything. You just need
Yeah, I doubt it.
very low
Someone who
barrier of entry.
someone was going to try to play the demo on their Windows 98 machine or something, because it's actually supposed to be playable on a Windows 98 machine. So.
Oh, I was going to try it.
Oh, you or someone else on Twitter mentioned
Oh.
either that or a slightly later version of Windows as well.
I had, what, Vista?
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember.
Or Windows 2000. Windows 2000, the only problem with that is it had a lot of sound driver issues. But I have a Windows 98 machine right here. I have an XP machine. 2K, yeah, probably 2K. But if we can get it to run on Windows 98, that would be awesome. Yeah,
Well,
Windows
this version
95,
was
but this one won't run in DOS though, right?
No, I don't think it will run DOS. Just
Yeah.
Windows.
There is, we think, a version of AGS that does DOS, but it's a very, very old version. Crimson Diamond should look like it's opening in DOSBox when you launch it. Well, that's up to Julia. It's not my game.
I don't know how to do those things. This fancy things.
Yeah, NT. So NT. The problem with NT is it doesn't have sound. I don't think, or most sound is not supported in it. So for me, that's no good. 2K has problems with sound support. XP is fantastic. XP will run pretty much anything. 98 will run, yeah, as Kisai said, 95, 98, and ME can run DOS. ME is tougher, I think. 95 is basically a bad version of 98 SE where they worked out all the kinks, at least. I don't think there's anything 98 SE won't run that 95 will, right? I have all these machines here. I think I was going to show something else. What the hell did I show you the other day, Julia? I showed you something else.
The music video?
Well, I could show that too, but that's unrelated to DOS and games. I don't know. Should I show the music video where I'm jumping into a pool? Sammy Bucket saw it yesterday. A Maple Nancy. Didn't work.
Oh yeah, you gotta buy the emote. It costs like 400 and something bit. That's like channel bucks or something. I don't think you're getting the right channel bucks.
Channel points.
Yeah.
Channel points.
Channel
Who do I have? Do I have anybody's emotes right now in here? I think you can only do it if you're subscribed to Julia's channel, right?
No, you can buy it using my channel bucks, but I don't know.
But we're not on your channel.
channel.
Yeah, that's the problem, I think.
Yeah.
If you're subscribed.
Accumulate points.
Yes, but it would only, and I don't have the ability to do them because I'm not a what's it called?
Oh. And Duck with Shade says Duck with Shade tried it and then it just didn't work and bought last week with the channel bucks. Strange.
Yeah, last week was on your channel. So you'd have to be on Julia's channel, which I think you could go onto her channel because the stream is being hosted. Chat on her
because
channel.
other people are doing it too. Like Davor has it and
They
stuff.
may be subscribers. Can be used on other channels. Are you guys subscribers of Julia's channel? I don't know.
I don't know if you need to be a subscriber necessarily. I have no idea how this stuff works though.
I don't either.
Because the way I do the emotes is I press the happy face to the right of the chat bar. And
it might be because you joined from the raid. That is possible. As Sammy Buckets is saying. We're Twitch newbies as far as it goes. So, on a very, very unrelated note, like the American flag football theme, at least that was a theme. Last night, for some reason, what the hell is the name of the song? Julie and I were testing, and whoops. Ooh, that's game over for Super Castlevania 4. Cool. Not what I wanted, but that's still cool. So, I was gonna tell a quick story about. Let's switch to us. I was going to tell a quick story about some music stuff, and I don't know how we got on the subject last night, but I was starting to talk about being in a band years and years and years ago. And I'm going to try to make this interesting. Years ago, I was in like a rock reggae band. My opinion was we were right in the right area, but I just don't think we knew enough. We didn't have anybody that really was like super knowledgeable about the industry at the time, myself included. I was trying to get there, but I wasn't there yet. So anyway, this is a video. I don't know how we got on the subject, but I said, yeah, Julia, there's a video of me jumping in a pool. She's like, what? So let's see if I can do this here. I'll show it if this works. Okay, so this is a band I was in many years ago. Emergency Service was the name of the band, and this song is called Feel Your Love.
So here am I, open my eyes, and I'm standing at a corner of a crossroads, baby. Look at the sky, but it's beneath my feet, and the ground's way up above me. People pass and ask if I'm okay, or maybe those aren't people, they're just stars that float away. And the only thing that's keeping me here is the thought that you are near. You pick me up when I am down, like a king picks up his crown, sets it on his head, goes to bed, dreams of a kingdom bright and happy. I wanna wake up at your side, you'll be my queen, and I'll confide in you and tell you that all I want is a lifetime. I wanna feel your love, I wanna feel it, baby. I wanna feel your love, I wanna feel it, baby. I wanna feel your love, I wanna feel it, baby. I wanna feel your love,
I wanna feel the music, feel your love, the energy, feel your heart beating when you lie in bed next to me. I lay awake, watch the stars from the reflections on the cars, wonder if you could be for me. We could start to believe. I fall asleep, and in this dream suddenly it's so serene, like the wind against a tree. Sunrise, face my day with a smile. I know to keep you by my side, I'd always walk the extra mile. So here I am, found a place to stand on top of this kingdom, trying to be a better man so we can walk together through the pain and through the pleasure. Feel your heart beneath the meter, feel your soul beneath the measure, singing
I wanna feel your love, I wanna feel it, baby. I wanna feel your love, I wanna feel it, baby. I wanna feel your love, I wanna feel it, baby. I wanna feel your love, I want to feel love.
Trumpet solo.
Well, I know it's not hard to say, giving my heart away. No, I know it's not hard to say, giving my heart away. You'll be my queen, I'll be your king. We won't have to worry about anything. I'll be your king, you'll be my queen, and we won't worry about anything. Yeah.
You can definitely tell when things got filmed at certain different parts of the day, seeing how sunburnt the guy gets.
Well, they were different days.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's not as pink, sometimes he's very pink.
Part of this was filmed in Rye, New York, and part of this was filmed in Brooklyn. Or, sorry, Queens. So they're kind of far from each other.
What year?
This is 2009 or 10. Uh-oh.
Feel your love, I wanna feel it, baby. I wanna feel your love, I wanna feel it, baby. I wanna feel your love, I wanna feel it, baby.
Underwater trumpet. What's better than that? So yeah, that's, whoops. Let's say, I'll stop that there. We'll skip back to our other view.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
think it's
that-
so cute.
Well, that was, so we released it February 5th, 2011, but I'm certain we filmed it well before that because we had to go into the studio to record the song and do all these things. So let's see. Yep, we did an album that was called Things Worth Fighting For. I still have copies of it sealed, of course. You know me. But yeah. Yeah, so that was cool. And it was it's interesting because at the time I thought the band could work. Like I thought we had a shot getting getting some radio airplay, getting these other things. But the reality was, to me, the music, while it was good, it wasn't great, and the production wasn't great. It was good, which unfortunately in the world that we live in, good is not really good enough, especially with music. You basically have to have great or go home. No, they didn't take forever to release. No, they just, I just never thought I kind of felt like it wasn't good enough. It just wasn't good enough. There's no other way to say it, really. It was good, but it wasn't good enough. And good enough is a bad thing in music, like if you're making records. But interesting stories about it. I played with that band for a few years. We were doing like a rock reggae kind of rapping thing. And it kind of preempted me working with Sean Paul. So if you guys know who Sean Paul is, some of you might not. He's a Jamaican dancehall artist who's pretty much crossed over, started to in 2010-ish, 9-ish, 8-ish, somewhere in there, and basically stayed on the charts for quite a long time. Since then, still gets #1 records every once in a while. His most recent #1 was, I think, Cheap Thrills with Sia. That one went #1. But yeah, it kind of preempted me working with him. And if you would have told me at that time in that pool party scene, is like, yo, dude, you're going to work with Sean Paul like next year, 2 years from now. I'm like, yeah, I wish. That'd be cool. And it was weird how it all came together. I was already kind of playing Jamaican influenced music, even though, in that band, I don't think any of us had any Jamaican roots. I don't think Drew has any he might have Caribbean roots, the drummer. But yeah, a lot of great musicians, a lot of cool people, and I ended up working with the lead singer a lot. We ended up writing a lot of songs together, and as time went on, we both got better. We worked with a couple of different artists, actually, but then I was going to show another song this is a song that I produced and played on, and this is written by myself and the artist and Sam Rivers, who was the singer of the band that you just saw. So the sunburned guy. The really white sunburned guy. Not me. I'm the other really white sunburned guy. Let's see here. How do I share this? I want to share this with you guys. Boom. So this is a song we wrote, and I'll tell you a little bit about it afterwards.
Come, lay down, don't leave me now. Tell me your dreams and how. Let's stay like this forever. Here, it's easy to feel this love. Just you and me, it's enough. Let's stay like this forever. The stars fade today. Light peeks through window shades. Something I must say before you slip away. Let your heart fall in love. Let your heart fall in love. Oh, 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 fall back to me. Let your heart fall in love. Let your heart fall in love. Oh, 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 fall back to me. I'm just a pawn in your game. Somehow the rules all change every time I turn around. So please don't make me beg. I will save a place for you. Save a place for you. The stars fade today. Light peeks through window shades. Something I must say before you slip away. Let your heart fall in love. Let your heart
Boom.
jump back. Yeah, so that was a song called Heartfall. The artist's name is Yosef Krohn, and he actually owns, we talked about this last night, he actually owns it. Oh, there's him again. Why am I still playing his music? Hold on. That was him doing a cover of a Jason Mraz song. Nice singer. Nice dude. He actually owns a chocolate shop in an Orthodox Jewish section of Long Island, known as the Five Towns, specifically Cedarhurst. And if you didn't notice, he's Orthodox Jewish. And really cool dude, really awesome chocolate shop. And
That's awesome.
it's pretty cool because the music we put together, he was the one who asked me to put it together. And I played a little bit of the piano and some of the synths and stuff on there. And I kind of put the track itself together. But we had a bunch of musicians. I had a synth bass player. I had an awesome drummer. If you guys are fans of John Mayer, Room for Squares, the first album that he put out, Your Body is a Wonderland, No Such Thing, Why Georgia, I hired the drummer from that album, which is a guy named Near Z, John Mayall. And I'm a huge John Mayer fan, and I was a huge fan of that album. Loved the drumming on it, so it was awesome to be able to hire him. He did a great job on the record. And we had a guitarist, and obviously Yosef singing. And actually, you can't probably notice, but I was singing on that record at the very end. So it was I was talking with Julia about this last night, a production technique where you want something a lot of times they just call gang vocals. So what does it mean? It means like you take a whole bunch of people and you make them sing. And it sounds like, kind of like if you were singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game at the baseball game or the national anthem or something like that. I don't mind if you do the Canadian national anthem or the American national anthem or whatever national anthem you want to sing, but as long as it's a whole bunch of people singing it together, that's the idea. So that was the production technique we used. Like in Hey Ho, exactly. Any Imagine Dragons chorus. Yep, pretty much they did it. This was thankfully, was mostly before those guys. I'm trying to think of what year this was. What year was this? Let's see. This was released in 2014, so we almost certainly finished it. No, late 2014, so we probably did it in 2014. But yeah, we just took, my idea was, okay, we're in the studio. It was me, the videographer, the engineer, who's also actually a singer and guitar player, excellent singer and guitar player, myself, and I think that was it. And I said, dude, do you got a way we can all go in the vocal booth and sing at the same time, and you just hit record from out here or whatever? He said, yeah. So we all went in there. I had the videographer sing. I don't care if he sings well or not. And, he sang okay. It was fine. But that was the idea. You almost want to have people out of tune and doing different things. So let me just play it. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Right here. Now, I was telling Julia last night, if I had to do all of this over again, I would have done that part of the song right at the very beginning of the song, because I want that little catchy piece to be in your ear from second one. As soon as you hear it, which you hear, the guitar is the first thing that comes in. I'm playing this. So right there would have been, would have come in right away. But, you live and you learn. That's it. So, and yeah, and the Sons part of Mumford and Sons. Yes. Every song is like that. So it's just a cool technique. It's been used for a long time. Probably invented before anybody knew what the hell it was called. Being in a stadium, I'm sure they were singing gladiator death ditties back to themselves.
Death ditties, yes.
In ancient Rome and places like that. In the Mayans were doing that stuff too. But yeah, that's just more on the songwriting side of it, I guess. tricks like that. It doesn't really work in a 5 to 7 second sample of a death ditty, but it does. There are what's the word? There are rules, I guess. Even with the Crimson Diamond theme, I thought of it in a certain way. You know, I thought of it, okay, here's a section, here's another section, here's another section. Yeah, off with his head, deedle dee. I mean, I don't know. Isn't there Wizard of Oz stuff like that? There's a bunch of stuff in the Wizard of Oz.
Is there?
Yeah, anytime you're singing like what you would consider a unison or an octave, you're singing the same melody. You're all singing the same melody thing. Yeah, it's like mates in a pub. Yeah, if you go to Texas, you said the stars at night or whatever, and people really do that deep in the heart of Texas thing.
Really?
Yes, they really do.
Oh,
I've
that's
seen it.
nice.
I've seen it anyway. Or Australia. There's a couple of chants that they do in Australia. I forget which one exactly it is. We'll have to ask Jess. Isn't Jess there?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have
Yes,
to ask
she is.
her. She'll know it. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I find like interesting, and also stuff that I had to study for a long time. Even though it doesn't seem like you'd have to study this, you kind of really do. And it applies even in game music. I mean, I'm thinking about it like it's not the same, but it is the same. I'm thinking in sections. In game music, sometimes I think, depending on what your timeline is, what resources you're using, how you're composing, because if let's say Crimson Diamond was a huge team, and Julia said, no, you need to hire a full, complement of musicians, and you have to score this, and you could do that. Like, we could score, and this is something I've thought about doing, by the way, taking the theme and scoring it, not real instruments, but like me putting it as if I was doing, not even Empire of Sin, because Empire of Sin is having like purposeful degradation on it. Something that's like a modern game, right? So I was scoring it like it was Call of Duty, or like it was Star Wars or whatever, and take all those instruments and try to make them sound really real.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I can show for 2 seconds.
That would be really cool. Yeah. Put some lyrics to that.
I don't know about the lyrics. We kept talking and it just never made sense. But if I play it like on like a sound, like, whoops, not that one. Go really nuts. I kind of
Yeah, it's awesome.
I gotta play every once in a while, right? I'm supposed
So
to play
good.
here. But you could do stuff like that and like add like big drum swells and all kinds of crazy chaos stuff. And I thought about this a couple of ways, right? you could do it. Yeah, you could do that. Girl in the Tower. That's also Mark Siebert, I believe. Oh, or I'm not too sure. Yeah, it definitely doesn't fit a 16-color EG game exactly. So that's why we use the MT32. But what we could do a trailer. We could do a trailer with music like that, because if you edit it a certain way, that might work. I want the sheet music for that beautiful arrangement. Oh, thank you. I wish I would have hit record, because Pro Tools will spit out some kind of poor sheet music. Exactly, Sammy. This is what I always say every week. You forgot clean up janitor. She's that too. She's that too, trust me. So there's the death music, right? If this was like, if we did this like in Unity or something and it was a 3D game, that would definitely be a 3D text parser.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, I got to use that chord that Margaret Lowe used. Yeah, the third game will be FMV. Oh no, please, God, no. But yeah, this is kind of the vibe, you know, so it's fun. And I think that might be a fun stream at some point. But I do have on this list, which I'm going to hold pretty far away so you can't really see it. There's a lot of stuff on the list. So I got to get through that before I go too crazy. And I'm still, believe it or not, I'm still working on things, even though I'm not actually touring. I still have, interestingly, a lot of studio work has been coming in, shockingly enough. It's been good, and it's been nice for me because it's nice to practice that stuff, you know? Do you ever feel like when you're doing art and you get hired for an art commission, do you feel like you're like practicing some new technique or dusting off one that's a little rusty, or like you still feel like you're learning when you do that stuff, or not so much? You feel more boxed in?
Well, for me, usually the budget's very small, so what I have to do is I have to already approach it to, well, what can I finish quick and effectively? And so that's what I tend to do. In college, it was course. I was showing some of my artwork from college on my last art stream, and it's, you know, it's all over the place, right? And it should be, because you're experimenting and trying a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, I used to do silkscreen printing for the work, but it was just taking too much time, so I went to digital instead. And yeah, it's just a matter of it, but that starts at the conceptual stage, right? But like, for instance, I was saying I don't like drawing cars. So if I had to come up with a visual metaphor concept for a magazine article, I would not send the art director any ideas that had anything to do with cars, even if it was about cars. If it was a car article, you don't necessarily need to have a car in a magazine article about cars.
So if it's about the Tesla truck, you're not going to send a picture of the Tesla truck, even though you could probably do an EGA Tesla truck very easily.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. I totally wouldn't do it. What I'd do is I'd use visual metaphors for speed or strength or mileage or whatever they're trying to accomplish. I would do that, and it's more visually interesting than the completely literal representation of that thing.
Sure. So you're approaching it from, your interpretation is not generally, I guess in this case would be abstract, because cars are not what you feel like you can do in a reasonable amount of time or something like that.
Yeah, it's that. I mean, of course, there are other tricks now where you can just get 3D models of trucks and just use them and composite them and stuff. They're just not visually interesting to me, and I don't enjoy drawing them, so I would not do it unless it was specifically explicitly for like an ad or something where you must draw the specific truck or car.
Like an REO Speedwagon, or what's it called?
Exactly.
What's it called? R what's the damn
Or
car
it's
called?
an REO touring
REO
wagon or touring car or
wagon.
something.
REO touring
Yeah.
car, which you had to
Yeah.
draw for your game, and you spent a lot of time animating and drawing it.
I did, and I'm never gonna draw it again. And I'm actually animating it for another part in chapter 4 right now, and I'm not changing it. I'm just like it just does the same
That's it.
path. So I'm just.
So
It doesn't look perfect, but I don't care.
So what about the arcade sequence for the car?
The part where you like your it's like oil barrels and stuff you're avoiding, and like it's like a Spy Hunter or something.
Did you ever play Super
Yeah.
Star Wars for Super Nintendo?
I didn't have console.
Oh yeah, neither did I, but I emulated it eventually in like the early 2000s, or maybe even before. In the late 90s, I was getting those stuff to emulate. But like, there's a scene where you take, it's pretty hard. You take this the land speeder. What they call it, a land speeder, right?
Yeah.
And you have to navigate through rocks. It's like the stupidest thing, but that's kind of that's what I'm picturing with. That's what I'm picturing with the arcade sequence for.
Yeah, you're gonna have to score the chase scene.
It makes a lot of sense because Nancy wouldn't probably necessarily even know how to drive in 1914, being a woman, and the fact that cars weren't really invented very much before that.
Yeah.
Right? Would she have her driver's license? No, right?
No, she's not. First of all, it's fairly new thing. Second of all, she doesn't have the money to buy a car.
Sure.
Like, no one would want her to drive one. And
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Definitely not.
It's very interesting. But you hate drawing cars, so and
just
most of your commissions are the timetables. But you know what? I think that applies no matter what, because let's say you're getting paid a lot. At the end of the day, but maybe it's a lot of work, you still have a deadline that has to be accomplished by. So you're tied in by that deadline. Especially for me doing the Empire of Sin stuff recently, I'm like, well, what can I accomplish? Because I would love to do 500 songs, but the reality is we don't have that timeline. The game's coming out soon enough, fall-ish. I don't know when, but fall. And I have to finish the songs, and then the songs have to go into the game, and they have to be approved by a bunch of people, and things have to go back and forth, and the publisher might have a thing, and right. So you have a lot of approval stages. So you have to kind of, I guess you have to kind of pace yourself. But in the same token, I guess I'm always trying to learn or push myself in a way. Sometimes even if the budget doesn't really make sense for that, like, wake up at 5 a.m, learn something, and then plug something in and buy a new plugin just to create one song, even if it means that you're earning probably not a lot of money, but it makes sense to learn,
Yeah, and of course I always like took more time than I should have on these things, because it's a matter of, it's not even just taking the time to get back and forth and revisions and stuff, but it's also like you want to put a certain level of finish on these things too, which can take a lot of time. And I'd always spend way too much time on stuff than I like, considering the budget that there was and the hours. And if you try to break it down by hourly, like how much I'd be getting paid hourly for the work I'd do, it never made any sense.
You don't want to think about that too often.
No, you don't want to think about it, because it just does not compute for me. I mean, I never worked fast enough.
Painful.
And so and the thing is I there's a certain point where you can make something look good or good enough in the deadline. You're pretty confident that you can do that. It's just a matter of, how much extra time do I have to take to do it? Yeah. So even if it's an idea that I don't really like, or if I had to draw a car or a bunch of cars or whatever, like, it can happen, but it's just, how many sleepless nights is this going to be, or etc.
Well, at some point, do you ever have the option or the opportunity to like subcontract? Or is it not really possible?
It's too the
deadline's
the
too tight and the budget's too small. Yeah,
they're really tiny. Like, most of my work was editorial, magazine, and newspaper stuff, which is like the lowest budgets, and they never really got any bigger. They often would. Yeah, it was a problem where the rates did not increase over time. They kind of just were stagnant. So it just, I don't know, it didn't make sense
But if it did, you would do something like that. Like, let's say you know somebody who kills the car drawings, and you just have to make a ton of car drawings. You're gonna try to, let's say the budget made sense for you to hire somebody else, or even there was direction to say, yeah, if you need a team, hire a team. You could do something like
yeah,
that.
it would be a matter of, I it's not something that tends to get done that way, because they kind of expect it all to come from one person with
Gotcha.
one
They need
particular
a
style.
style, yeah.
Although I'm sure you could, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could probably subcontract and just not tell them and just make sure that everything looks the same.
A lot of
Yeah,
people do that,
possible.
by the way. A lot of people do that with music,
I see.
with art, with everything. Anything that they can, they will. Especially in,
Yeah.
you know, jobs like contracting where that's the whole thing. I don't know. It's interesting because I was thinking about doing a lot of that, and I think based on the budgets, sometimes I would do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. Well, I work during streams. You do?
Well, not
Oh, I was
right
like, dang,
now,
what'd
but
you do? Show it off. Show off the cross stitch.
I did earlier, but yeah, I can show it again. It's gonna coming kind of near to the end.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, you just got a few green things left, right? Green and yellow things.
Yeah, I've got to fill in her hair. She's kind of
Oh,
got
gotcha.
dangling long hair right now.
Uh, How-
But yeah, it's working. But I'm gonna try different color variations because oh look, my color and my light just corrected itself. It does that too sometimes. Um, yeah, I'm getting different color threads and stuff, and I'm gonna see how those work out. We'll see. But no, I mean when I'm watching other people stream, I tend to like be working on something else.
That's kind of wild. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Slat Studio. Yeah, it's skill building. That's the way I kind of view it, you know? But I don't know. So, are we able to give any kind of preview of what we're doing next week on our art stream? Or should I show the art stream? Next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Making the Crimson Diamond Live continues. Painting Pixels with Julia.
Yes.
Promptly
Yeah.
at 8 p.m.
Yes. Yeah. I don't have an NPR voice. What do you even do? What's the instruction
I have
for that?
no idea. I'm not even sure what I'm picturing, but something in my head's stuck there for a long time.
I don't even know how I would try that.
You
Are
don't
you
have to.
speaking really softly?
Slow, enunciated with an E, Sam, and breathy.
Oh, I see. Okay. Because I
Making
tend
the
to talk
Crimson
really fast. So it's
Diamond
really hard for me
Live.
to slow down.
Yeah.
Okay, let me try.
Yeah.
And you have to talk real close to the mic
Oh
like
no!
this.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's bad. That's the proximity effect. Don't do that.
Oh dear. Okay.
Your voice sounds
Already
good
tried.
there from where you are.
Okay. Yeah. So
Just cover up your screen so you don't see me laughing.
Okay. Yes. I can't talk slow. Gosh. Next week, I will be drawing more of the background for the Crimson Diamond Royal Canadian Museum exterior in Photoshop CS2. And I'll also be showing a selection of my artwork from my time in college.
Ooh.
See, it's funny because when
That's
I talk
pretty good.
faster, my mind
was
is
pretty
also
good.
working faster. When I'm talking slower, my mind also slows down, and so it doesn't.
Well, I'm thinking of it like a script, you know. I'm thinking of it like a script, like it has to be said identically each time. Next week, Making the Crimson Diamond Live continues. Painting Pixels with Julie at 8 p.m. She will be revealing college/university project work, in addition to painting more pixels for the Crimson Diamond. That's it. Will you be painting pixels next week? I hope so. I hope I didn't lie.
No, you're not lying.
Good.
I mean,
That's
you
what
could be
figured.
lying, but I think you're not.
No, I think so too. And excuse me, I enjoy being as much in the chat as I do being on the stream. Sometimes more in the chat because I can wander around and, space out like I like to normally do, but this one I try to be focused. And we're not really I should say we very loosely. I'm not very focused. I'd like to do all kinds of other things and then maybe get a little piece of this thing done, which we did get done today. So there's a good thing about that.
Oh, Sammy Buckets would like to know, have I tried any alternatives to Photoshop for pixel art?
Oh, what a good question.
In fact, I have tried a few alternatives.
NVR.
I've used Sprite, which is a fairly inexpensive program that is I think it's very popular among a lot of pixel artists, and it's especially good for animating pixel art, which is what I've been using it for. Although for my large background pieces like the Royal Canadian Museum, I've still used Photoshop because it still has features that I use a lot that unfortunately Sprite doesn't offer. But I will say Sprite is excellent for animating pixels. And I'm learning that as well.
That was a good sales pitch.
What's that?
I'd buy Sprite, but I think it's free.
I also use an app called Medibank Paint on my iPad, which is an interesting app. It is developed in Shibuya, Japan. Although
where is that regionally?
What's that?
Where is that regionally in terms of
I don't
Japan?
know.
I don't know either.
It's
I
in
like
Japan.
To know.
What do you want?
South? Is it north? Which island is it on? I'll look.
If I just said any number in any direction, you just buy it okay, fine. It's northwestern Japan.
What's outside of Tokyo, according to this?
I don't know. You tell me. Hokkaido.
That's what it says. What's outside of Tokyo, which is the Shibuya station? It houses the two busiest railway stations in the world.
Sweet.
If I've got the right Shibuya City.
I don't know, probably.
Okay, so it's definitely in a very, very busy area of Tokyo.
Shibuya Michi? I don't know. But that one is also a very excellent app for the iPad that is optimized for mobile devices. And I use it quite a bit when I am on the go.
Oh, that works. Are you on the go much lately? Probably not.
No, but for instance, if I have to take my mom to some appointment or something and I'm waiting in the parking lot.
Gotcha.
Because I don't want to go inside the building.
Yeah, no.
Because the building has screening now.
Yeah.
Because of our current situation.
Canada's so far ahead of us. It's not even funny.
So I wait in the car and I'll do work if I can and if I have it. Which is really excellent on the iPad to do very simple pixel art. So I'll do just about any. I'll do backgrounds, simple things, portraits and such. It's got layers, which is really nice, and
so it's easy like Photoshop.
It is. It's a lot like Photoshop. Some of the selection tools are not as good, which is to be expected, but you can upload the work directly to Google Drive. I have the paid version, which means I can save them as Photoshop files with the layers intact. And that is very, very handy for me for my workflow when I'm back at home. So those are two pixel art apps or pieces of software that I use when I'm not using Photoshop. We have Photoshop CS2, Sprite, and Medibank Paint.
Nice. And you're using Photoshop CS2 and Sprite on the computer or on the Surface Pro, which you use the Surface Pro. That should be pointed out because you're using a Surface Pro and a stylus, right?
Yes, I'm using a Microsoft Surface Pro 2. Specifically, and Bill Kuhn backs me up. He actually bought a Surface Pro 2 because of the streaming that I've been doing.
Really? Oh, man.
Because I told him that...
Where's your check from Microsoft?
I know. Send me free things, please.
Nice one, Bill.
Yeah, Sammy Buckets, definitely check out Sprite. It's got some good YouTube tutorials, and it's pretty well done, I have to say. I'm still trying to do the NPR thing.
Uh-oh, what happened to my camera? My camera just died. Oh,
Microsoft
no.
Surface Pro 2 uses Wacom drivers, which means you can use Wacom styluses with it. So you can buy any Wacom stylus you wish. And Wacom is the most superior of stylus technologies. You don't have to recharge the stylus. It does not require batteries. And yet it is not used in anything that is not Wacom, it seems, anymore. And I don't know if the Wacom company hates money, because it is clearly the best thing ever, and to upgrade my Surface Pro 2 will be very painful for me, because
Expensive.
anything that what's that?
Expensive?
Well, no, it's not a matter of expense. It's a matter of inferior stylus technology. I will need to
Wow.
recharge my like the iPencil needs to be charged,
Ugh.
which is this is, and other styluses require quadruple A batteries,
Which you can't find anywhere.
which, well, you can find them,
Amazon.
and they're not that expensive, and apparently they last a fairly long time. But when you're coming up against this thing, which needs no charging,
Yeah.
which needs no batteries, the idea of upgrading
Yeah.
is just a joke.
Yeah. I hear that. I definitely hear that. Huh. Interesting. It's kind of funny. There's a lot of technology. By the way, I think my camera died. So so I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get any more of me. Yeah, I think my camera's finished for today. Let's see.
Oh,
Julia Big, yeah. No. That's it. So we haven't right now we have you.
okay, that's fine. Whatever.
I don't know. I guess my iPhone that I'm using. I got to reset this up. I don't like my camera setup. But that's another story. Yeah, there's a lot of technology for whatever reason just has not gotten better. If it's actually gotten worse. There's a fair amount of music stuff that really hasn't advanced the way that it should have. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I agree, Anna. Although I like Dan, I'm always happy to look at Julia. That's how I feel
Aw.
about it.
Anna's sweet.
But actually, my name is Julia, and this is Dan that you're seeing right
I'm
now.
Dan, and I have an elevator pitch that
Oh, yeah.
that Julia said that she
we
was
got
going
to
to
talk
work
about
on.
that. Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Yeah,
Let's talk about the elevator pitch.
yeah, yeah. Well, I know that Julia has an elevator pitch, but Dan is working on his elevator pitch. I'm working on my elevator pitch. It's because my name is Dan, and I haven't got one yet.
That's true.
Which, let me see if I can do one right now.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Don Policar, and I
Pitch over.
what's that?
Pitch over.
My name is Daniel. My name is Daniel Policar, and I like keyboards.
That's a great one.
I play in my basement. I collect games.
That's pretty good, actually.
I just got a haircut. Do you like it?
No. But yes. It's starting to get confusing. Hey, if it's confusing for you, think of how I feel. Yes. Hi.
I
I'm
like
Dan.
games.
I like games. And I also like tacos. Thank you. Goodbye. That's a good elevator pitch. It doesn't tell you anything.
Do you want to see my bubble bobble machine?
Oh, Julia used to be such a nice person. I don't know what
See, here's the
happened.
problem with me, okay, is I'm actually not a nice person, and the more you know me, the worse I get.
That's totally not
And I
true.
apologize for that.
That's totally not true. I played her music. I like that one. Took her jobs. Yeah. I like games and tacos. And I have shoes. Bye. Something like that seems effective, right? That's top level, executive level elevator pitch, I think. I yelled out, I like flags. It's fun to like things. Anna, that rules. It is absolutely fun to like things.
It's fun to like
How
things.
that must be why she's going to murder all those people in her game. She actually already murdered all the people that work in her game studio, except for her composer. That's
Yep.
a little known fact. Yeah. I don't know. I thought about it. It's tough.
What?
Well, I was thinking of an elevator pitch specifically for the Twitch streams.
Oh.
Like
That's okay. That's easier, isn't
that's
it?
easier? I don't know. Well, it's
Yeah.
better. It's not as good as I like things because I do. It's fun to like things, as Anna pointed out. I love that. It's fun to like things.
Do you like anything? Yeah. Do you like things?
Yeah, sure, definitely. Do you come here often? Do you like things? What's your
Yeah.
favorite
Well, the
color?
more specific we get, the easier it is. So if you want to do it, if you want to have an elevator pitch for your stream, you can like, "Hi, my name is Dan Policar. I'm
No,
a Grammy-nominated touring
our
teaching
streams.
musician."
Our streams, yes, and I like turtles, like Bill said.
And you like turtles.
I actually don't.
Well, okay. Well, hi. My name is Julian Dan, and we stream art dev and music dev for the Crimson Diamond, alternating weeks, music and art.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Dan loves to complain about any place he is eating at, except for good places that I'm eating at. And
Turtle.
here, I don't know if anybody here lives in Amsterdam, but the best Indian restaurant I've ever eaten at is in Amsterdam. Phenomenal. Oh man. I actually went there with Anna Bras, who is the Guinness Book of World Record big box PC game collector. He holds the world's record for the largest collection of big box PC games. And I met him in Amsterdam because I think he lives about an hour or so out of town, 90 minutes. And I was staying in town. I met him and we went over to the Indian spot because I knew about it from eating there in years past. And he was like, man, this food is crazy. I think about it. So I like to complain about what I'm eating, but I also have places that I absolutely love. And it's not rated on any special. No, I don't. I didn't partake in any of those activities in Amsterdam or otherwise, despite me starring in a video with Sean Paul called Weed Problems. And I use the term starring extraordinarily loosely because I have one slight cameo. But as a cool side note to that, in that video, I'm sitting in Afrojack, the DJ. I'm sitting in his Maybach. I think it's a Maybach car. I forget. He has
You're in the video? What's this
I'm in
called?
the
Weed
video.
Problems?
It's called Weed Problems by Sean Paul, or it might be by Ching Ching featuring Sean Paul or something.
Okay. I gotta look this up later because we're probably not gonna play it because you're
No,
probably.
we can't play it. We'll get hit with a.
What if you just mute it and we just watch it?
Yeah, it'll be boring. You got
It won't be boring.
No, you got to do it on your own time. We could put a link to it or something. Let's
That's
see.
fine. I'll watch it on my own
If I
time.
find it. I'll put the link up.
Alright.
But yeah, I'm sitting in Afrojack's car, one of his many cars.
Who's Afrojack?
Afrojack is a big EDM DJ.
Cool.
It is Ching Ching's song.
Okay.
Let me not play it.
You will not play it.
No, I'm going to hit share. I'm going to copy this link. And I'm going to put it into the chat.
And so
Boom.
it's featuring Sean Paul, but also the Bada Band's in it?
Nope, just me and Ching Ching and one of the dancers, I think. Because we went to Afrojack's studio to work on music.
Oh, cool.
So it it just so happened they were like, "Yo, we need you for a video." I was in the studio with Afrojack, and they were like, "Yo, we need you to come film this thing real quick." Okay, cool.
Aw, that's so
whatever.
cute.
Boom. Film it. Go back in. Work. And there's another video. There's another Sean video that I'm into, but that's all good. Side Studio. Good night. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you
I
for
think-
coming today. We're
I
just
think our
messing
stream
around now.
ended quite a while ago, but we're still here.
The worst.
But yeah, it's fun
Cool.
stuff. Anna,
Chi Ching Ching. Weed Problems. Chi Ching Paul.
Chi Ching Ching, yes. Don't play it because we'll get copyright claimed.
No, totally not. That's for later.
Anyway, I think we should wrap up this stream by doing a little
Yes.
nice NPR. Next week, we will be live. Well, Julia will be live. Making the Crimson Diamond live. Painting pixels with Julia. As we delve further into Julia's portfolio of work from university And additionally, we'll be making scenes or continuing scenes from the Crimson Diamond when you join us next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Making the Crimson Diamond Live, Painting Pixels with Julia. Thank you all for watching us. Oh, Julia only. I forgot my camera's dead. And I don't know why the other one isn't working. Oh, yes, I do. Well, that's all right. I'll fix it later. I'll fix it next time. What were you going to say,
All right.
Julia? You look like you were going to say something.
No, I was just saying I was expressing approval that you think that you know what's wrong with your camera and that you can fix it.
I do, yeah. It's on Discord, and Discord is stealing access from OBS.
Boo.
Yep.
No, I got nothing to say. See you guys next week. This was fun. Thanks for coming.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We'll see you. You will see Julia on her channel, twitch.tv/A_Maple Mystery next week at 8, and then you'll see both of us in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys.